Good evening, everyone. Welcome to historic Larks Park and the 75th anniversary season of Hayes Larks Baseball. Tonight's non-league contest is the second game of a two-game series featuring the Boulder Collegians and your Hayes Larks. The Larks are currently 11-1 on the season, 6-1 in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Baseball League. Free admission to tonight's game has been made possible through the generous sponsorship of Remax Pro Realty and the Astra Bank of Hayes. We greatly appreciate these fine people and their support of Hayes Larks Baseball. And now let's meet tonight's starters for your Hayes Larks. Leading off and playing second base from the University of Sioux Falls, number 2, Grant Long. Batting second, playing third base from Kansas City Community College, number 4, Palmer Hutchison. Batting third, tonight's designated hitter from the University of Texas at Arlington, number 16, Wyatt Davis. Batting fourth for the Larks from Fort Hays State University, the left fielder, number 21, Grant Schmidt. Batting fifth, playing first base from the University of Oklahoma, number 28, Kate Brown. Sixth, the center fielder from East Tennessee State, number 8, Leo Jibian. Batting seventh, playing shortstop from the University of Nebraska, number 9, Core Jackson. Tonight's Ace Street Liquor Beverage batter, batting eighth and catching from Butler Community College, number 25, Brock Loomis. And batting ninth for the Larks, playing right field from Hayes, number 33, Dylan Driley. Tonight making a pitching start for the Larks from Arizona Western, number 27, Luke Turpie. And in his 40th season with the Larks, please welcome the Larks head coach, Mr. Frank Leo. Larks pitching coach is Keith Hyper, assistant coach is Max McGuire. Thanks to our game sponsors for the great looking t-shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your umpires for tonight's game. On the bases is Randy Jordan, and behind the plate is Matthew Weaver.
Meet me down at the ballpark, where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. I can't wait to see a home run. I know for sure there's gonna be one. I'll call out the players by their first name. Sure am glad I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to game number 13 of the 2021 Hayes Larks season, their 75th anniversary season. This is game 2 of a 2-game series between your Larks and the Boulder Collegians. It's Luke Terbeek on the mound and Ryan Vogel at the plate. The first pitch Terbeek throws in this game will hit Vogel in the back, and not an ideal way to start the game for the Larks. Runner on first with nobody out in the top of the first. Check over at the runner. He slides in safely. The Larks victorious in last night's game, 10-4, with 14 hits versus Boulder 6. Strike one here to John Gazdar, the shortstop for Boulder. Gazdar out of San Jose State University, and we'll get a check over at the runner at first. Sliding back in safely is Vogel. Runner takes off. Good pitch to throw down. And Loomis will skide over Lung's head, and Jackson will back up the throw behind the second base bag, nearly into the outfield. The fastball high and outside set up Loomis perfectly for the throw. The ball just not on the money. Down to second. 1 ball and a strike to Gazdar, with Miguel on deck and Chatterton in the hole for the Collegians. 1-1 with the runner in scoring position, sent down the right field line and out of play. This is Terbeek's 5th appearance of the season, no record. Has thrown 12 and 2/3, striking out 16, still hasn't allowed a walk, but has hit one batter in this game and hit 2 total on the season. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looking to pick up punch out number 17 on the season. He'll step off the rubber and get a new sign from Loomis. Terbeek comes in this game with an ERA of 2.84, allowing 4 earned runs. This is his second start of the season. His first one was in Colorado against the Sox. He had the lead and turned the ball over to Max Castellucci and Trey Riggs, and picked up no decision as the Larks lost on a walk-off in the 9th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gazdar. Terbeek looks in. The righty from the Netherlands will go from the stretch. Off speed, and Gazdar way in front of that one. And Luke Terbeek continues to punch out a ton of batters, number 17 on the season, and that's the first out of the ball game. Terbeek is 6'1" freshman from Arizona Western College. this year for the Matadors. Made 9 appearances, went 5-0, and threw 32 1/3 innings. One of 3 international players on the Larks roster. Showing bunt here is Brady Miguel, and he pulls back as the off-speed misses high and outside. Larks coming to this game on the year 11-1 on a 7-game winning streak. They're 6-1 in league play. This is a non-league game, but the Larks are first in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. 2 balls and no strikes to Miguel. As for the Collegians, 10-4 on the season. They've won 6 of their last 8 games. Swing and a miss on a knuckleball. Beek has only thrown 2 wild pitches this year and hasn't walked a single batter, which is truly remarkable when he literally calls himself a knuckleballer. Usually knuckleballers walk a lot of guys, allow a lot of home runs, throw a lot of wild pitches, but he makes it work. This one's grounded to Cord Jackson at shortstop. Looks to third base as taking off mistakenly was Vogel from second. Cord Jackson, had he not bobbled it, trying to exchange hands, would have thrown out Vogel by a mile. Instead, the throw to first base is late, and it's an E6, and there's runners on the corners with 1 out. Larks cruised in yesterday's ball game. Started out the game with 8 unanswered runs and continued the momentum all the way through the end of the ball game. Look for Beek to hit the low zone and trying to get a ground ball. Does there, but it's over to the right side and foul. Trying to get a double play here is the Larks. Defensively, Hayes lines up. Grant Schmidt in left field, the solid outfielder from Fort Hays State University. Then we have the speedy Leo Jamimian from France and center, and the junior in high school, going to be a senior in high school, Dylan Dreiling in right. Cade Brown, the Oklahoma Sooner at first base. Grant Lung in the middle infield along with Cord Jackson. And then Palmer Hutchison in the hot corner. It's Brock Loomis out of Butler Community College behind the dish. No balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Chatterton, tonight's cleanup hitter. Chatterton batted second yesterday, went 1 for 4, drove in 2 runs, and scored 1 himself. We'll foul this one off, and we'll stay 0-2. Great night for baseball here. It's plenty warm. Slight breeze moving in from right center field. Good turnout at Larks Park, and this one is going to be fouled back into the crowd, and we will stay at 0-2 and get a 5th pitch. Beek yet to throw a ball in this AB. Gets set. Runner takes off for second. Cord Jackson was running to second to get there for the throw, and just like that, the hit and run works, and Jackson Chatterton picks up an RBI, and Vogel scores. Had Cord Jackson not had to cover second base, he would have been easily able to field that one. Probably wouldn't have got the double play as the runner was already taking off from second. Had Chatterton not tried for second, it would have been an easy 6-4-3 double play for the Larks. Instead, the Collegians have their first lead of the series, 1-0, with the runners on the corners and still only 1 out. That was Ryan Vogel scoring. Vogel has now scored 11 runs this year. And for Chatterton, that was RBI number 11. 1-0 to Alec Ackerman, the third baseman, grounds this one hard to Palmer Hutchison, and Hutchison just saved a run. The throw to first will be off the line of Cade Brown, as Grant Lung said he had his foot on the bag, but on the bases, the umpire, Randy Jordan, said Grant did not tag second base, and the Larks will have their second error of the inning, and another run will score. They will roll to hits, but there is an error on the play. And Palmer Hutchison, beautiful snag in the hot corner, great reactions, kept in the glove, and Chatterton goes from first to third. Ackerman gets a single out of it, but a couple mistakes from the middle infield for the Larks. Ruin what Hutchison did. The 0-1 home off speed crank to left field. Grant Schmidt will move to his right. Tagging up is Chatterton. The throw home is going to be a good one. Brock Loomis applies the tag. Grant Schmidt has his second outfield assist in this week and will end the top of the first. Collegians get 2 runs. We go to the bottom of the first. Hayes carrying some momentum. Bottom of the first. Grant Lung will lead it off. Larks down 2-0 against the Collegians, the first time they've trailed this series. 1-0 on the second baseman leading off. Grant had the day off yesterday and sends his second pitch into shallow right center field. Chatterton, Vogel, and Rucco all move towards it. Vogel will be the one who makes the catch, and that'll be out number 1 of the bottom of the first inning and brings up Palmer Hutchison.
From Kansas City Community College, the third baseman, number 4, Palmer Hutchison.
On the mound for the Collegians, Theo Dopkins. He's 1-0 in the year through 2 appearances, has 1 start, has a whip of 0.562 and an ERA of 0 flat. First delivery from him way outside, 1-0 to the third baseman from KCK Community College. Theo southpaw gets a ground ball to Palmer Hutchison, but it will be to the left side of third base, close to third base coach Max McGuire for Hayes. Sam Crowell, the catcher, tonight's first base coach for the Larks. Yesterday was McGuire at third and Wyatt Divis at first base. Third base coach has almost always been Frank Leo, with whoever his assistant is at first base. 2019 it was Steve Sedbrook. Last year it was Bryce Baumwart. This year it's been Max McGuire, but Frank Leo getting some rest and getting to spend some time in the dugout as the head coach. 1-2 to Hutchison, off speed just outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dopkins out at San Francisco State University. Southpaw has a 2's count. And misses outside again here, really thrown outside to Hutchison. Larks batting order We'll get to that after this payoff pitch. Tompkins from the wind of the southpaw goes home. Hutchison lunges forward and will have a second pop-up to right center field. Ruocco calls off Chatterton and makes the catch. They'll bring up Wyatt Divis with two away in the bottom of the first.
From the University of Texas at Arlington, number 16, Wyatt Divis.
Larks start the order with the University of Sioux Falls Cougar. Grant Lung leading off. Palmer Hutchison followed him up. Wyatt Divis is batting third and playing DH from UTA. Cleanup hitters Grant Schmidt with Cade Brown batting fifth. Leo Gemini in the center fielder batting sixth. And the 7, 8, and 9 hitters are Jackson, Loomis, and Dreiling for your Larks. No balls and a strike after Divis fouls this one down the left field line. Do it for the Collegians in the second inning will be Oliphant, Ruocco, and Given. Second delivery here from Divis, placed beautifully over the head of Ackerman in the hot corner, and he has a 2-out single. That'll bring up the Larks cleanup hitter and ever dangerous righty Grant Schmidt.
Number 21, Grant Schmidt.
Grant Schmidt, yesterday's ball game, lost his hitting streak going 0 for 5. First pitch to him, misses the zone. Tompkins really working outside. Again, misses outside, and they'll check at Divis at first. Oliphant's throw to Given. Won't get a tag. 2-0 to Grant Schmidt. Schmidt is 6'3", Fort Hays State Tiger from Hastings, Nebraska. Having a great season for the Larks so far. Looking to get his hitting streak back here. Third pitch of the AB, off speed above the letters, 3-0. Schmidt batting .348 on the year, slugging well above 700. Has an OPS of 1.110. Takes this one all the way and has a hitter's counts. Brown on deck if the Larks need him. Each team has a hit. Larks have 2 errors. Boulder has none, and the errors were the things that really cost the Larks in the top of this inning, allowing 2 runs to score. Schmidt fouls his one back, and we'll go 3-2 again. Tompkins takes a long look at Divis and goes home. Swing and a miss from Schmidt. And as Tompkins' 12th strikeout of the season through 6 1/3. And we go to the second inning. Hayes down by 2 against the Boulder Collegians. Top of the second we go. Back to the mound is Luke Terbeek. His first delivery misses the zone. will get the zone 0-1. Terbeek allowed 2 hits in the first inning, but 2 errors really gave him some runs to work with. Leading off the inning for the Collegians, Lane Oliphant. The 0-2 home to the catcher, grounded hard to Palmer Hutchison. Feels this one, really gives him time to collect it, and takes a couple steps and throws across the diamond to Cade Brown. A ground out to Hutchison will start the second inning, and there's one away.
Fielder number 9, A.J. Rucco.
Only one of the runs scored in the first inning against Terbeek was an earned run. Just the 5th earned run of the season for Luke. We bring up A.J. Rucco, the right fielder and son of head coach Tony Rucco for the Collegians. It's his second delivery to right field. It's going to drop, and Dylan Drowning lets it carry. And there's a 1-out base hit, the 3rd single of the day for Boulder.
The first baseman, number 16, Jake Gibbon.
So 1 on, and we'll check over at the runner not in time. Terbeek has thrown 24 pitches, only 5 of those balls, but the Collegians haven't seen the ball well and putting a lot of them into play. He's gotten 1 ground out and 1 flyout compared to his first 4 appearances when he was a real ground ball pitcher, got 14 groundouts and just 6 flyouts. 1-0 is the count to the bottom of the order, Jake Given. Given got the start behind the plate yesterday and then was pulled. Given in yesterday's ball game, 0 for 2 with a run scored, was replaced by Garrett Fisher about halfway through the game. 1-1 is the count to the first baseman. Terbeek goes home, off-speed ground to Cade Brown. He can't make a play on it. Took a tough bounce in front of first base. And they're going to officially rule it in a second. Took a tough hop, and it will be ruled an E3. And there is 2 on, and the Larks have their 3rd error of the game. Rucco goes to 3rd, and Given goes to 2nd. Larks, reminiscent of their game against the Colorado Game Day Saints that first Friday when they had 7 errors. Very sloppy of 3 errors and only 4 outs recorded. They'll bring us to the top of the order. Ryan Vogel was hit by a pitch to start the game on the first pitch of the game. First pitch he sees from Terbeek, he fouls off and will have an 0-1 count. Vogel yesterday went 0 for 4 against a combined effort from Blue, Parker, and Dreiling. The 0-1 pot back, 0-2. Given is the 6th base runner of the game for Boulder. Larks only put 1 on it in the first. It was off of a Wyatt Divis single. The first inning, the Collegians got 2 hits, scored 2 runs, and left 1 runner on base. Slider from Terbeek misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Loomis behind the plate gives Terbeek the signs, and he will get his second punch out. An ugly swing from Vogel and a great pitch from Terbeek. We'll get his second strikeout of the day and number 18 on the season. And now is 1 out away from getting out of the jam. That'll bring up John Gazdar, the shortstop from San Jose State University. Do it for the Larks in the second inning will be Cade Brown, Leo Geminian, and Cord Jackson. 0-1 to Gazdar. He gives Loomis a nod, not wasting any time between these deliveries. Goes home from the stretch. Slider outside, but chasing it is Gazdar and Terbeek. Even with two in scoring position, staying composed and hitting the zone. Infield creeps in. The 0-2 line to right field. It's in the gap between Lung and Brown. The throw home from Dylan Drowling would have been on time had it not pulled Loomis away from the plate. And that'll score 2 runs on the single for Gazdar. Brings home Ruocco and Given. Dang, just like that. After being 1 strike away from ending the inning and sending us to the second without any runs, Boulder rallies with 2 strikes and 2 outs and gets a 2 RBI base hit. For Gazdars, those were RBIs number 12 and 13. We're going to have another base hit, the 4th of the game. This should be the 5th of the game for Boulder. Gazdar to second, and Miguel has now been aboard 2 times, and the inning continues. It's got to be frustrating on the mound for Terbeek. 1 strike away from keeping him scoreless. They get 2 runs on a single and then now get another single. And he's forced to stay out in the heat. Showing bunt here is Jackson Chatterton. 1 for 1 today with a single and an RBI, but was thrown out on a sacrifice fly attempt. Crowd here thought Terbeek had strike 1. Instead, the umpire, home plate umpire Matthew Weaver says it was outside. 2-0 to Chatterton. Beek goes home and gets a fly ball out of play. 97 degrees in Hays, Kansas. And it's been a long top of the second and top of the first for Terbeek, just taking a beating from the weather. And we'll see if that leaves any fatigue on him as we move throughout the game. 2-1 home. Grounded to Core Jackson. Will have some trouble with this one. And that's Core's second error of the game. Looks down at the ball, very frustrated. And the bases are loaded, and the inning keeps going. Larks have just been bad defensively tonight. Have not looked like themselves. Core Jackson has been so great at shortstop this season for the Larks, and Keith Harper wants to have a chat with Luke Terbeek, who has had this inning keep going on with no fault on him for that one. Almost got out of the inning had there not been an error. We'll take a quick break and be back. Top of the second, 2-way, bases loaded for Luke Terbeek. Slider here to Alec Ackerman. Misses outside. 1-0 to the third baseman batting 5th. Ackerman on the day, 1 for 1. Singled and picked up an RBI in the first inning. Takes strike 1 looking. 1-1 counts. Terbeek just trying to get out of this inning. 5 hits for Boulder, 3 in this inning. 1-1 home, a slow one grounded to Palmer Hutchison to the left side of third base, and we'll go 1-2. There was an error with 1 out, And since that error, there's been 4 base runners on 2 outs. And Luke Terabig picks up his second strikeout of the inning and keeps the runners on third, second, and first in what could have been a way worse situation. And Collegians still pick up 2 runs. We go to the bottom of the second. Hayes down by 4. Cade Brown will lead off the bottom of the second for Hayes. Theo Dobkins back to the mound after a long top of the second. Has a big gap between pitches and misses on his first 2. This one at the feet of the first baseman from the University of Oklahoma. Cade in yesterday's ballgame got the start at first base and at the plate had a great day. Got 2 hits and 2 walks, scored 4 times. Each time he got aboard. 3-0, and he's looking to pick up his 3rd walk of the series. Oh, they will say that did catch the outside part of the plate. Tough call there from the umpire. Brown thought it was outside instead. This one will be outside, and he has a hitter's count. Jiminian on deck with Jackson in the hole for Hayes. The hitter's count delivery home. He's early on it and sends it to the Larks dugout. Full count here to Cade Brown. Theo Dobkins allowed just 1 hit in the first inning, got 2 flyouts and 1 strikeout. Left a runner on first base, ending the inning. And again early is Brown, his payoff pitch is to the left side, and we'll get another one. Theo Dobkins from West Sacramento, California, plays for San Francisco State. His first year at San Francisco State in the short 2020 season, through 4 appearances through 1 inning on average, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 7 runs, and 3 strikeouts. San Francisco has no stats available for his second season, but here in Hayes, Kansas, he will walk Cade Brown, and Brown has his 3rd walk of the series on a terrific at-bat to get the second inning going for Hayes. And the bats looking to roll here, looking to start him off will be Leo Jiminian, the center fielder.
In the center fielder, number 8, Leo Jiminian.
Leo yesterday, 2 for 4, scored 2 times and drove in a run. Dobkins was unranked from perfect game out of high school. And Jiminian swings and misses at number 2 in this AB and is down the count and will have to protect 0-2. Dobkins has thrown 23 pitches, 12 strikes. Doesn't get the strike on this one. Fastball outside. Good eye from Jiminian, and he keeps his AB alive. The 1-2. Leo Jermaine hits it to right center field. Vogel and Rucco move towards it. Calling off Rucco is Vogel, and he makes the catch. The second flyout of the game to Vogel in right center field. That'll bring up Cord Jackson, who on the defensive side tonight has 2 errors, but is getting his first chance at offense tonight with Cade Brown at first base. And the new first base coach in this inning is Cam Pearson. Got the night off and is using it to be the first base coach in the second inning after Crowell was the first inning first base coach. First delivery to Cord Jackson, a slider, misses the zone 1-0. Loomis on deck with Drowling in the hole for Hayes. The 1-0. Jackson skies it out of play. Larks late on their swings or very early and have hit quite a few foul balls in this game already. One and one with a runner on first and one away, and the bottom of the second. Brown gets his lead. Dobkins goes home from the stretch. Swing and a miss from Cord Jackson to 1-2 counts. Check over at Brown. He's in safely. Jackson in yesterday's ball game batted ninth. Excuse me, he didn't bat ninth. He was a courtesy runner. They have him on the stat sheet as batting ninth after Dylan Drowning. They put 2 hitters in, but he did score courtesy running. Slowly grounds his one back to Dobkins. The throw to first will be in time, but Cade Brown advances to second base. That'll bring up Brock Loomis.
The catcher from Butler Community College, number 25, Brock Loomis.
Loomis had a great game last Sunday, but got the night off yesterday. On Sunday, Brock went 3 for 5, had a single, a double, and a home run. Picked up a total of 3 RBIs and scored 1 time. That was on his home run, but he had a courtesy runner in the game score for him since he was catching. So 2 total runs came from his batting spot in the order. 1-0 to Loomis. Brown trying to score the Larks' first run of the day from second. Inside delivery to the toes. 2-0 to Brock Loomis. Hopkins looks at Brown for a while. Good sized lead at second, but nobody there to keep him honest. Loomis late on the swing and sends it off the top of his bat to the backstop. 2 balls and a strike to the catcher from Butler Community College. Brock from Hayes, Kansas, a 6'1" freshman. Could go to Butler for an additional 2 years and play for the Grizzlies. Two 2-1 home above the letters, high and outside, 3-1 to the catcher. With 2 outs in the first inning, Davis singled. Loomis looking to continue that 2-out magic from the last inning into this one. The 3-1 home popped up and out of play. We get a payoff pitch here to Brock. Brock has struck out 3 times this year and walked 1 time. Has a total of 5 hits. We'll see one of those results on this payoff pitch. And it's home, and Brock Loomis has his second walk of the season, and there's 2 on with 2 outs. Second walk of the inning. Just the 4th walk of the season for Theo Dobkins on the mound, and Zach Henry will run for Brock Loomis. Dylan Dreiling to the dish. Dylan having a great season, but yesterday didn't have his normal outing. Went 0 for 3, but did walk one time and drive in 1 run. Henry gets his lead at first. Brown the lead at second. Dobkins will throw his first delivery home. Southpaw to southpaw. This one misses, or excuse me, will catch the zone late. Call from the umpire, 0-1. The 0-1 Dreiling slider will catch the zone, 0-2, and will have to protect. Do it for the Collegians in the third inning will be D. Oliphant and Rucco. Grant Long on deck for Hayes. Dylan Dreiling wants to make sure Long gets in at bat here. Hayes just has one hit on the day, and Dylan Dreiling will strike out. The second strikeout on the day for Theo Dobkins. Number 13 on the season through 7 1/3. And we will go to the third inning. Hayes trailing for the first time this series. They allowed just 4 runs in yesterday's game and are down by 4 here early in this one. Top of the third we go. Leading off is Sean D. The first pitch from Terbeek is a swing and a miss. 0-1 counts on the left fielder. Swans ground to Palmer Hutchison, fields it in fair territory, steps on the third base bag and bounces off of it, and the throw to Cade Brown is in time, and Palmer Hutchison, who's been the lone bright start, or the lone, I don't know how to put it, the lone consistent guy in this game in the infield for Hayes, continues his success and will get a ground out to start the third inning. One away, bases empty for Lane Oliphant, who's 0 from the day, and he ground out to Palmer Hutchison for the first out of the second inning. Oh, and 1 as this one will be fouled off. And Oliphant, the catcher, did not play in yesterday's game. The only hitter in the lineup for Boulder tonight that didn't see action. 1 ball and a strike. This is game 2 of a 2-game series against Boulder. Larks won yesterday 10-4. These two teams will meet up again in Boulder on Saturday, July 3rd and Sunday, July 4th. The 1-1 is grounded. Cord Jackson eats it and throws to Cade Brown for out number 2. And just like that, for the first time today, Luke Terbeek is the first 2 hitters of the inning out. I'll bring up A.J. Rucco, singled and was the third hit of the ball game out of 5 so far for Boulder. Terbeek from the windup home outside 1-0. Ruco out of Cal State East Bay. A lot of guys from California schools on the roster. Larks have just one in Max Castellucci. Cade Brown, the first baseman, used to play in California for San Diego, but has since transferred to the Big 12 and plays for the Oklahoma Sooners. The 1-1 home, lined up the middle. Cord Jackson dives forward and will make the catch, but the throw down to first after a bounce right before he got it will be over the head of Cade Brown. Great play and great effort from Jackson. The throw just not there. And that will be the 5th error of the Larks game. And he is frustrated. It was a tremendous play to get that ball even. I think most guys, 99% of shortstops wouldn't have gone to that one, but Cord Jackson dove for it and made an amazing play, but the throw to first puts Ruco at second with 2 outs. First delivery to the bottom of the order, Jay Given misses. 1-0, 2 away, runner on second in the top of the third. Wind is now coming in from left center field after starting the game from right center. 1-0 is popped out to play, 1-1 to Jake Given from the University of Massachusetts. His brother was on the mound yesterday in the game, got the start, and picked up a loss. And Terbeek will strike out. Given leaves the runner at second, and Cord Jackson will go back to dugouts. A little relieved knowing that error didn't cost the Larks anything. Terbeek gets strikes out number 4 on the day, number 20 on the season. And we go to the bottom of the third. Hayes looking to make up a 4-run deficit. Bottom of the third, Grant Schmidt will lead it off and will get hit by his first pitch from Leo Dawkins. Second hit batter of the game. The first one was Ryan Vogt to start the inning, start the whole game. That was the first inning. And Grant Lung will get hit by a pitch to start the bottom of the third inning. And a painful way to get 90 feet. They'll bring up Palmer Hutchison, the third baseman, 0 for on the day with a flyout to Ruco. First delivery to Hutch outside 1-0. That was the first batter Theo Dopkins has hit this year, and Grant Lung has now been hit 2 times in 2021. Check over at Lung, not in time. Larks only have 1 hit. Yesterday, the third inning was a great one for Hayes. They scored 3 of their 10 runs. They also scored 3 in the second, but in the second inning of Today's game, they picked up 2 walks, but left 2 on and scored nothing. Hutchison fouls this one off. We'll go 1-1. This one's grounded slowly up the middle. Could be 2. Waiting on it is Gazdar. Will tag the bag himself and throw out Palmer Hutchison. It's a 6-3 double play, and the Larks now have the bases empty with 2 outs. He really had to have some urgency on that one. After waiting on it so long, there was nothing else he could do but wait, and then just barely beat Grant Lung to the bag and threw out Palmer Hutchison at first base. And the Larks will have to start over fresh. They'll bring up DH Wyatt Divis to the box. Divis on the day 1 for 1 as the lone hit of Hayes' game. The 1-0 to Divis catches his own 1-1. Most hitters will tell you a right-handed batter sees the ball out of a lefty's hand better than he does a right-handed batter. Vice versa for the lefty. They see it better. When you're in the left-hander's batter's box, you see a righty better. And Divis throws right-handed, but in his career has batted left-handed. And for about one of the first times this season, Larks are seen as southpaw, and that advantage won't be in his favor, but still a great hitter, and has a 2-1 counts. I don't think it matters who's on the mound with Wyatt Divis at the plate. He can get a hit off of almost anybody in collegiate baseball. Dobkins goes from the windup and misses the zone and walks his 3rd batter of the game. And there's a runner on first with 2 outs, and Wyatt Divis is aboard for the 2nd time. Divis led the Larks in walks last year. He had a total of 31, and on this season, he has just 6. But is getting hits at a higher rate than he did last year. Had a batting average of .336 last year, but has his average above .460. Grant Schmidt to the box, hits this one to deep left field. Looking up is D, and is it another home run for Grant Schmidt? It is! Grant Schmidt continuing with his hot start and picks up his team-leading 6th home run of the season. Drives in and runs RBIs number 14 and 15 on the season. Scores his 12th run. And Wyatt Divis scores his 11th run. Grant Schmidt, you can never give him something good to hit. Dobkins does, and he pays for it. Grant Schmidt has been on a tear for the Larks. Nobody's come close to him in terms of home runs in the KCLB. He had 11 at Fort Hays this year and has over half of that already for Hays in just 11 games. So still 2 outs, but the Larks cut the lead from Boulder in half. First delivery to Cade Brown after the Grant Schmidt 2-run shot is going to be fouled off. Grant Schmidt loves hitting home runs to left field. That one again to left field. Hit that walk-off last Wednesday to deep left field, and it was an exciting one for the Larks. That was 1 week ago today that the Larks won 8-7 with his walk-off solo shot to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. 1-1 to Cade Brown. Brown on the day 0 for 0, walked and cranks this one to left field. Moving back is D. He's in front of the warning track, moves into foul territory, and will make the catch and slams into the wall. Great hustle from the left fielder after the 2-run shot. Brown well hit that ball into foul territory, but it results in the 3rd out. Larks get their 2nd hit of the ball game. It was a 2-run shot from Grant Schmidt, and they trail by 2 as we move to the 4th inning. This is Carson Ackerman on the call. You're tuned in to Larks Network. Top of the fourth, Luke Terbeek's back to the mound, leading off as the top of the order. Ryan Vogel, 0 for 1 of the day with a strikeout and was hit by a pitch to start the ball game. His third look at Luke Terbeek, as there was movement in the pen for Hayes between innings. Now there's two guys sitting out there. Terbeek has struck out 4 on the day, one in the first, 2 in the second, and then 1 in the last inning. This one's going to be struck to center field. Leo Jiminian moves in and records out number 1, and Luke Terbeek has his third straight leadoff outs. Larks fans, make sure to follow Larks on Twitter at HayesLarksBB. Like the Larks on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. You don't have to be Larks fans to do any of those things. It's free. You can stay up to date with the Larks and your team when the Larks take them on. But really have been pushing and advertising the YouTube channel, as the subscriptions help us out a ton. And Luke Terbeek will hit his second batter of the game, and there's a runner on first with 1 away. It's the off-speed for Terbeek that has hit the 2 batters. He's hit 3 this season now through 15 innings pitched. Every time a runner gets aboard, before he throws a first pitch home, he checks over on that runner and does so again to Gazdar. It's a good way to keep him honest. Nobody has stolen a base today, but we've seen an attempt, but there was a foul ball. First delivery to Miguel in the zone for a called strike. The DH on the day, 1 for 2, reaching on a single and reaching on an error, has scored 1 time. Check over again, sliding away safe is Gazdar. The 0-1 line to the Larks bullpen. No balls and 2 strikes to the DH from Cal State Monterey Bay. Terbeek goes home. This one way above the letters. 1 and 2. Actually, we have seen 1 stolen base today now that I checked the stats. Throw was a good one. Or the throw was on time but high and went over Grant Lung's head. Runner stays on this one, and the 1-2 is fouled off, and we'll get a 5-pitch AB.
There's another bill.
And Brady Evans gets a couple of baseballs from Wyatt Divis and heads to the pen to warm up. A pitcher, I can't tell who it is from here. I think that is Carlo. I can't tell who it is from here. I'm not going to guess. I guessed a former Larks pitcher. I was going to say Carlos Tavares, but it is not him, and I can't read a number on there. I was looking at the wrong guy, and now I think that is Jose Velasquez warming up. Can't tell who was up there with him. Pass ball or a wild pitch advances the runner to second. Could have had a double play right there, but this one would just be a ground out to Grant Lung for Brady Miguel. Moving to third base is John Gazdar. He's 90 feet away from making it a 5-2 ball game. And coming to the plate now is Jackson Chatterton. Chatterton on the day, 1 for 2, reaching on an error, singling and scoring or driving in a run. First delivery misses low, 1-0. The 1-0 home outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Excuse me, they will say umpire's been late on his... Umpire been late on the calls, and we'll get a ground out to end the top of the 4th inning. Collegians strand a runner at third base, and we go to the bottom half. Hayes down by 2. Bottom of the 4th, leading off for Hayes is Leo Jeminian. Jeminian on the day 0 for 1 with a flyout to Vogel in the 2nd inning. Second pitch he sees, he fouls off. 1 ball and a strike to Jeminian, having a great season for the Larks. Came into this game batting .255, but had a great on-base percentage way above 300, was slugging over 400, and has a 1-2 count in this one. Had a great year at Clarendon as well before coming back to Hayes for his 2nd season with the Larks. Played in 52 games, led the team in hits with 86 and led the teams in runs with 69. Had a batting average of .402 and a slugging percentage of .640. He stays alive here, 1-2, and Theo Dobkins will going to pick up another strikeout on the day here. Misses outside, 2-2. Struck out 2 today and 13 on the season. Fouls another one off. There's a guy up and moving in the pen for Boulder. But he's just stretching right now. No pitches thrown, but the Larks do have a righty up moving in the pen. And Trevor Munch also makes his way to the pen. Not sure if Trevor will be warming up or just going to go keep Jose Velasquez some company. But either way, it's a leadoff single for Jeminian. Has a quality at bat right there and has the Larks their 3rd straight leadoff base runner.
The shortstop, number 9, Cole Jackson.
Leadoff base runners don't mean anything if you can't bring them home. And Cord Jackson will look to move him over and keep this inning going. Jackson on the day grounded out, but moved Cade Brown to second base while doing so. Late on this swing, sends it to Larks bullpen. Keith Harper out and getting looks at Velasquez as he's warming up. Velasquez has had a great season on the mound, and we'll either see him in the bottom half, or excuse me, the top half of the 5th or the 6th inning. Luther Beek looked good in the 4th inning, but Larks really haven't taken pitchers very long this year. They took Jackson Blue for 6 innings yesterday, and that was one of the longest outings we've seen from the Larks this season. Davis has gone quite a few innings starting games, but usually the guys go 3 innings or less for Hayes. Especially earlier in the season when they were trying to get guys figured out and really get a feel of them. Cord Jackson's going to have a no-out single. Jeminian's going to go from 1st to 3rd. The throw from Ruocco going to be way late. And there's runners on the corners with nobody out, and Jackson gets the Larks some momentum And the go-ahead runner comes to the plate in the form of Brock Loomis. Brock Loomis on the day 0 for 0, walked in the second. Tonight's beverage batter, so a hit would not only score a run for Hayes, but get the Larks fans really excited. Max McGuire gives the signs from third base to Cord Jackson. We'll see if he's running. Cord Jackson has been semi-aggressive this season in terms of stolen base attempts. He has 7, but is 7 for 7. Loomis is going to get the Larks fans half-price beverages and score at least one run. Cord Jackson could score from first. Loomis, who had a great day on Sunday, had a double, a single, and a home run, completes a 2-game cycle and has a 2 RBI triple, and he's fired up at third base, and the Larks fans are fired up, and the whole dugout is fired up as it's a 4-4 ball game.
Reduced price on all drinks and remainder of this half inning. Courtesy.
And we'll get a courtesy runner for Loomis. Scoring is Jeminian from third and Jackson from first. And Brock Loomis, who started off kind of slow to get the season going, has been on fire. Picks up his 8th and 9th RBIs in his 6th game right there. Scoring is Jeminian for the 14th time this year, and Jackson scores for his team leading 17th time this season. And we're tied up. So Henry at third, 0-1 count to the bottom of the order. Dylan Dreiling, who was 0 for 1 of the day, striking out against Dobkins in the second to end the inning. The 0-1 home reaches low and fouls it back. So for Loomis, who didn't play this year for Butler after redshirting and had his 2020 season in high school, his senior season, get completely shut off, and is having a great summer for the Larks in his first real action since last summer when he played for the Hayes Legion team. And the 0-2 to Driley is going to be popped up, and he looks frustrated with himself, and he's 0 for 2 in the day, and Zach Henry will stay at third.
Top of the Larks batting order, the second baseman, Grant Long.
They'll bring up Grant Long after Driley pops up to Given. Long on the day, 0 for 1 with a flyout and a hit by pitch. He swings and misses at his first delivery, 0-1. Larks looking to pick up win number 12 on the season tonight. Have been on fire offensively. Pitching has been hit or miss, but no matter what the Larks' outcome is, they put up a ton of runs, only lost 1 game. 0-2 to Long as he fouls this one down the left field line off the fence. Dobkins goes from the stretch, and the ball is going to get away from Oliphant, and Zach Henry is going to score easily, and the Larks lead for the first time today. So a run will score in the place of Brock Loomis, who drove in 2 runs, and for Zach Henry, that is run scored number 9. And out of the dugout is Mark Knudsen, the pitching coach and general manager for the Collegians. We'll see if they want to pull Dobkins. No sign of reaching for the ball, and it looks like they will keep Theo on the mound and let him at least finish this at bat to Grant Long. So the bases are empty, and Grant Long has a 1-2 count with only 1 away. The 1-2 to Long slams a mile high into right center field. Rucco rushes in, loses his hat. Vogel calls him off and makes the catch in the shallow outfield for allowed out number 2. Base is empty with 2 away. Larks have scored 3 in this inning after scoring 2 in the third and silence in the first 2 innings. Grant Long will give the bat to Palmer Hutchison, who's 0 for 2 in the day with a flyout to Ruocco and a double play in the third inning. Has been great defensively for the Larks today and looking to get the offense for himself going here in the bottom of the fourth inning. The first delivery to Hutch, low and inside, 1-0. Divis on deck with Schmidt in the hole for Hayes. From the windup goes Dobkins, and Hutchison is in front of this one on the off speed, 1-1. Do it for Boulder in the fifth inning is Ackerman, D, and Oliphant. And again in front of the pitch is Hutchison, 1-2. Hutchison yesterday went 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and is looking to pick up hit number 1 here. Had a triple, a double, and a single with just a home run shy of the cycle. 1-2 to the third baseman is what the count will stay. Hayes has 5 hits, so does Boulder, but Hayes has scored 5 runs to the Collegians 4. The 1-2 again with 2 away. Fastball outside, 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Hutchison is what the count will go to. And the 2's delivery home. He's laid on the swing, way early on the swing, and reaches on the way out forward and just taps it to stay alive. So we'll stay 2-2. Has done a nice job protecting the plate. Has found 2 off with 2 strikes on him and taken 1 ball. The 2's delivery line to left field, and it's going to drop for Hutchison. His first hit of the day, and it's been a great 4th inning for the Larks. And the Larks fans have really enjoyed it as well, as Hayes has scored 3 runs, and Brock Loomis got the Hayes fans half-price beverages for the remainder of this half inning.
Number 16, Wyatt Divis.
To the plate now, Wyatt Divis. Divis on the day, 1 for 1 with a walk and a single, and a run scored. He scored on the Grant Schmidt home run. Grant's on deck, and I know the Collegians don't want to face him. Velasquez done warming up. I think we're probably going to see him for the 5th. And Divis takes this one off the number 16 on his jersey, read it all the way. It was a off speed, so will sting a little less for Divis. But that is the second hit out of the day for Theo Dobkins. And out of the dugout is Tony Ruocco, and it's going to be a day for the southpaw. We'll let you know who the new pitcher is after the break.
Meet me down at the ballpark, where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. I can't wait to see a home run. I know for sure there's gonna be one. I'll call out the players by their first name. Sure am glad I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Bottom of the fourth we go. Grant Schmitz will be the first batter Garrett Jensen faces. He's always dangerous, and Boulder had a chance to end the inning, but they hit Davis and allowed a single to Hutchison. And the inning will keep going, and they will face the guy who took him to deep left field for a 2-run home run in the last inning. New pitcher in the game for Boulder is Garrett Jensen. He pitched in yesterday's ball game. This is appearance number 4, all in relief. Yesterday's ball game went 2 1/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs scored while he was on the mound, but neither were earned, and he struck out 1 batter. The 1-1 to Schmitz from the righty. Fastball, I think that was a slider that is purely based on the movement. Had some nice velocity. Started high, and Schmidt chases it low. 1-2 counts for the left fielder. Jensen on the season a 3.38 ERA, and he gives Grant Schmidt something good to hit, but Schmidt swings under it, and Jensen will pick up strikeout number 3 on the season, and the Larks leave 2 on in the 4th inning, but they do score 3 runs, and they pick up the lead as we move to the 5th. Alec Ackerman will lead off the 5th inning for Boulder. He's on the day 1 for 2. And the first pitch he sees from new pitcher Jose Velasquez, he skies to right field. Dylan Driley makes the catch in front of the warning track and allowed out number 1 as the Larks lead 5-4 in the top of the 5th. It's a day for Luke Terbeek. He goes 4 innings strong on the mound. Throws 68 pitches, 50 of those strikes, only threw 18 balls today. Hit 2 batters through, had 1 wild pitch. 5 hits allowed, 1 earned run, even though 4 runs scored. Struck out 4 and continues his season without walking a single batter. For Terbeek, he has now thrown 16 2/3, all without allowing a walk. 2 balls and no strikes now to Sean D., the left fielder. This one's ground to Grant Long at second base. Will throw an easy one to Cade Brown. 2 up, 2 down in the 5th for Boulder.
The catcher, number 25, Lane Oliphant.
They'll bring up Lane Oliphant. 0 for 2 in the day, both against Terbeek, with a ground out to Hutchison and a ground out to Jackson. This is Velasquez's 5th appearance of the season, his 4th one in relief. Comes in the game 2-0 on the season. Has allowed just 1 hit. That was against Denver this last Saturday. It was the first hit he's allowed all season through his first 11 innings on the mound without allowing a hit. Has walked just 3 batters, struck out 13, and still has no earned runs in a whip of 0.29. That's just crazy right there. The 0-2 home inside. I think Oliphant thought it was going to hit him as he started to go to first for a second, and he'll go back to the box. Down 1-2. The 1-2 home from Velasquez. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 inning for Jose Velasquez. And the 5th inning continues his dominance. Strikes out his 14th hitter of the season through 15 innings on the mound. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Hayes looking to add on to their 5-4 lead. Bottom of the 5th, leadoff for Hayes is Cade Brown. Takes a first pitch ball and then fouls his second one off. 1-1. Garrett Jensen on the mound after coming in the last inning. Jose Velasquez into the top of this one through a 1-2-3 inning for Hayes. Cade Brown today 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. Has a 2-1 count here against Jensen. Kay got aboard 4 times yesterday and scored all 4 times. Has been aboard once today, got to second base, but was left there. Hitters counts for the dangerous first baseman. Jensen from the windup, and he will walk Cade Brown. Brown now has 4 walks in the past 2 games, and there's a leadoff runner for the Larks. Larks have had a leadoff runner in every inning but the first in this ballgame. Runner on first for Leo Jiminian, who on the day is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. He shows bunt. Brown starts to break for second. The throw to first is going to be over the head of Given, and Cade Brown will go to second base, and Jiminian has a 1-0 count. Good enough road to better for the Larks right there. First error of the game for Boulder. Oliphant, the 3rd catcher of the game, or of the series for Boulder. Given at first base, got the start yesterday, then was replaced by Garrett Fisher. Inside delivery, 2-0. Wind really picking up now. Has cooled off a little bit. Still plenty hot out. Wind coming in from right center field. Got a lefty and a righty up in the pen for Hayes. Castellucci doing some tosses. I can't tell who that is from here. It looks like Wyatt Davis, but then Trevor Munch is full-fledged warming up in the pen. 3-0 to Jiminian Jensen, struggling with his location in this inning. Throws a fastball right down the middle, but Jiminian is taking all the way. Brown came into the series with 4 walks and has doubled that and has 8 on the season. Jiminian lunges low for this one, pops it into the grandstand. And we'll have a full count for the center fielder from St. Lo, France. Core Jackson on deck with Brock Loomis in the hole for Hayes. Jensen takes a long look at Brown in the payoff pitch. Inside walks his second batter in this inning. Back-to-back walks for the Larks. 2 on with nobody out. And they look to keep the momentum rolling. They've scored in each of the past 2 innings. 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And that'll bring up Core Jackson. Core Jackson on the day, 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. For Leo Jiminian, that was walk number 5 on the season. As aboard for the second straight inning. He led off the 4th inning with a single. First delivery here to Core Jackson, right down the middle. He takes it 0-1. Leo started the last inning with a single. Core Jackson followed it up with a single of his own, and then Brock Loomis tripled both of them home. Couple of pop-outs brought Palmer Hutchison to the dish with the bases, with Henry at third. And Henry scored on a pass ball. Hutchison singled with 2 outs. Davis was hit, and then a strikeout ended the inning. As for the 3rd inning, when the Larks got their other 2 runs, Grant Lung was hit by a pitch and then was out on a double play. Davis walked, and then Schmidt hit a 2-run shot to left field to get the Larks their first 2 runs of the ball game. Jackson swings at this one and has a 1-2 count. Jiminian at first with Brown at second. All 5 runs in this game have been scored by 5 different runners. RBIs 2 apiece for Schmidt and Brock Loomis. 1-2, and he reaches outside for that one and is down on strikes for the first time today, and that's the first out of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Brock Loomis to the dish, having a great week. 3 hits on Sunday, and will come to the box now with a runner in scoring position. Already has 2 RBIs on the day, and picked up his 4th extra base hit of the season. Sunday was just a breakout game for Loomis. Single, double, and a home run drove in 3 runs. It was just a triple try this cycle, and he got it today. We've seen Larks 1 hit away from the cycle several times this season. Palmer Hutchison, the latest one last night, triple, double, and a single, was just a home run shy of the cycle. As for Brock Loomis at the plate right now, swings at this one, can't make contact. 0-2 to the catcher from Hayes, Kansas. Trailing on deck with Lung in the hole for Hayes. Back-to-back walks started out this inning, and Loomis looking to not be the second strikeout victim. Pops this one up over to the right side, and chasing into foul territory is given. He dropped a couple in foul territory yesterday, but he will secure this one, and that's the second out of the 5th inning. That'll bring Dylan Dreiling to the dish. Dylan 0 for 2 on the day.
The right fielder, Dylan Dreiling.
Jensen came in for the 4th inning, and he got the last outs. It's actually, Boulder's numbers have been hard to read. We had agreement that it was number 27, Garrett Jensen, but Whoever is doing the stats from the Larks side believes it's Adam Shue, number 21. Either way, they've thrown 1 inning, struck out 2 and walked 2. Fastball high outside, 1-1 here to Dylan Dreiling. The 1-1 to Dreiling. Misses low, holds up the sign to Brown and Jimmy to hold where they're at. Got our third first base coach for Hayes in this game, Matt Cavanaugh, now at first base, taking the duties from Sam Crow. 2-1 to Dreiling. It's a 3-1 count to the right fielder, and the situation difficult now for the pitcher for Boulder. Can walk and continue this inning and walk the third batter of the inning. But if you give Dylan Dreiling something good to hit, he's going to take advantage of it. The 3-1, he grounds it to the shortstop. Gazdar will toss it to Chatterton at second for an easy out, number 3. And that'll end the 5th inning. Larks silent for the first time since the 2nd. And Hayes leads 5-4. Top of the 6th, we go from Hayes, Kansas to the mound. Replacing Jose Velasquez is the third pitcher of the day, Trevor Munch. Munch from Lawrence, Kansas, and has a 1-1 count to A.J. Rucco, the leadoff hitter of the 6th inning. Rucco on the day, 1 for 2 with a single, and he reached on an error in the 3rd. Came around to score in the 2nd inning on the single from John Gazdar. Jose Velasquez comes in relief of Terbeek. Terbeek goes 4 innings. And then Velasquez comes in, throws a 1-2-3 fifth. And Munch is now making his 4th appearance of the season. Gets a pop fly over to the right side. Cade Brown chases it, is at the Collegians dugout, and makes the catch right in front of it. And that'll be the first out. A nice play from Brown. Gets Trevor Munch out number 1. 6 straight Collegians have now been retired. That'll take us to the bottom of the order. Jake Given, who's 0 for 2 in the day, reaching on an error in the second, striking out in the third. He has scored 1 run, though. Given has dropped in the order after batting 8th yesterday, has dropped down 1 spot to the 9th. Nice pitch from Munch. Doesn't get the call from the home plate umpire, Matt Weaver. This one's grounded. Grant Lung fields it and tosses it to Brown. 2 up, 2 down for Trevor Munch in the 6th. Issues with our scoreboard again on the stream, so we'll look to get that fixed ASAP. Munch comes into this game with an ERA of 3.60 and a whip of 1.40. Has thrown 5 innings over the course of 3 games. Has allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, but has punched out 7 batters. A great strikeout to walk ratio for the southpaw. That last pitch at Wichita State. First delivery outside to the top of the order, Ryan Vogel. Vogel on the day 0 for 2 was hit by a pitch in the first inning and came around to score the first run of the game. It was part of a 2-run first for the Collegians. They followed it up with a 2-run second, but have been silent for the past 11 outs. Showing bunt is Vogel, and they will get a strike called on him as it's bunted straight to the plate and into the glove of Loomis. The 1-1 becomes 2-1 as a fastball zooms off the plate and bounces off Loomis way high. Munch has now thrown 8 pitches, half of those strikes, and started one of the 3 batters in this inning with the first pitch strike. Beek gets his start, strikes out, or excuse me, he does strike out 4 guys. Velasquez strikes out 1, but as for first pitch strikes, Ter Beek gets 15 first pitch strikes to the 22 batters he faces. Velasquez gets 2 first pitch strikes to the 3 batters he faces in his 1-2-3 inning. Hitters count for Ryan Vogel. Grounds this one to his third base coach, Tony Rucco, and he has a full count against Trevor Munch. Do it for the Larks in the bottom of this 6th inning. Top of the order, Grant Lung, Palmer Hutchison, and Wyatt Divis for the Larks. Munch looks in, gets a sign from fellow Kansas native Gronk Loomis. The payoff pitch home inside, and I don't know if it hits Vogel, but it wouldn't matter regardless. It would be a walk or a hit by pitch. Either way, there's a runner at first with 2 outs.
The shortstop, number 13, John Ganstar.
They'll bring up John Gazdar to the box. On the day, he's 1 for 2 with a single and a hit by pitch. Drove in 2 runs on that base hit in the 2nd inning. Munch, the second pitcher he sees today. Didn't see Velasquez. This one's going to be a pass ball for Loomis, and it's a 1-0 count, and the runner advances into scoring position. And out of the dugouts for Hayes is Keith Harper. pitching coach Keith Harper works on the mound, and Trevor Munch has a 1-0 count to John Gazdar. So after the mound adjustments, throws a first pitch ball to the shortstop. That was officially a walk for Ryan Vogel. Has been hit by a pitch once and is aboard for the second time on a walk. 3 straight balls to John Gazdar, and Munch has thrown 4 straight balls total. Munch, a veteran on the mound, look to bounce back. Showing bunt is Gazdar. He pulls back, and Matthew Weaver does not give Munch the call on the 3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk. Back-to-back walks for the Collegians. Puts 2 on with 2 outs. To the box is Brady Miguel, the designated hitter. On the day, Miguel 1 for 3 with a single in the second, and he came around to score in the first inning when he reached on a Core Jackson error. 6 straight balls for Munch makes it a 1-0 count. Munch gets a sign from Loomis. This one's lined to the middle infield. Core Jackson dives for it. The throw from Jeminian is going to be not in time. It's in front of in front of home plate, and it's a tie ball game. That was just perfectly struck to where nobody at shortstop, no matter who it was, don't care if you put Fernando Tatis there, they're not getting to that one. And Leo Jeminian, by the time he ran all the way in from mid-center field, the throw was going to be a tough one. That's the second run score of the day for Ryan Vogel. Gazdar moves to second, and Brady Miguel picks up his 6th RBI of the season. One and one as he gets a swing and a miss out of Jackson Chatterton. Be an earned run for Munch. Chatterton on the day 1 for 3, also reached on an error and single, but then was thrown out by Grant Schmidt trying to score on a sacrifice fly from Sean D. Swan bunted into foul territory. Loomis runs in front of the plate, makes the throw, but all for nothing. Runners return to first and second. Each team has 6 hits. Hayes has 5 errors. Boulder has just 1. Munch looks in, and we'll go 1-2. Looking to end this 6th inning and give the Larks the chance to take their lead back. The 1-2 home from the southpaw, hit to right field. Moving in is Dylan Drowling, and he will make the catch for out number 3. Boulder gets 1 in the 6th, the first time they've scored since the 2nd inning. We go to the bottom half, tie game from Hayes, Kansas. Bottom of the sixth, leading off for Hayes will be Grant Lung. New pitcher into the game for the Boulder Collegians is Grayson Gifford. And he fires a first pitch strike to Lung. Lung comes in this AB 0 for 2 with a fly pop-up and a hit by pitch. Gifford misses the zone outside on this delivery, a slider, 1 ball and a strike to Grant Lung. For Grayson Gifford, this is his third appearance of the season. Has thrown 9 1/3 innings, is 1-0 on the season, has allowed 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and struck out 15 batters. Comes to this one with an ERA of 4.28 and has a 1-2 count to Lung. Misses above the letters on the fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The righty goes from the windup and doesn't get the call from Matthew Weaver. A tough one for Lung to take. Misses just above the letters, and we'll have a full count to the University of Sioux Falls Cougar. Gifford was a class of 2020 ground out of Denver, Colorado, given a 90th overall rating, 90th overall player in Colorado rating from Perfect Game. Grant Lung's going to be aboard here. Larks have their leadoff runner again. Every inning except the first, they have a leadoff runner, and it's going to be ruled an E5 Ackerman. Makes the second error of the day for Boulder. Runner on first with nobody out for Hayes. Hutchison to the dish now, singled in his last at-bat. Gifford was given the rating of the 39th overall right-handed pitcher in the class of 2020 by Perfect Game as well. Committed to Azusa Pacific. Fouled off from Hutchison. Runner on first. One away, or excuse me, no outs, 1 strike. That's what I was referring to say to Hutchison. Be sure to follow the Larks on Twitter and Facebook. Stay up to date with all things Larks baseball all summer long. Subscribe on YouTube. It's free. Hit the notification bell. And you'll get notified each time we go live for every game this season, so you'll never miss a minute of action. Palmer Hutchison shows bunts here. Bunts it off the ground and then off his chest. Second time he's shown bunt and fouled it off, and is down the count 0-2. No more bunting for Hutch in this plate appearance. Davis on deck with Schmidt in the hole for Hayes. New first baseman as well in this game is Garrett Fisher. He came in relief of Jake Givens behind the plate in yesterday's ball game, and comes in relief of Jake Given at first base in this game. The 0-2 to Palmer Hutchison lined out of play, and we will stay 0-2. Larks looking to pick up their 8th straight win here. They're in a position to take the lead, have a good base runner with Grant Lung at first base, and going through the heart of the order will have to be Gifford. Righty versus righty. Looks over his shoulder at Lung and checks on him to throw off the glove of Fisher. Hutchison was great in yesterday's ball game. Went 3 for 3 and drove in 2 runs. Looking to pick up his second hit of the ball game, but he'll have to protect the plate right here. The 0-2 delivery to Hutch. Fastball high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third baseman from Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Palmer got national recognition this year at KCK. Was the National D1 Player of the Week for JUCO, and was a Kansas JUCO Player of the Week in 2 consecutive weeks. The 1-2 to Hutchison. Lunges for this one, sends it into center field. It will not drop. Vogel makes the catch at his waist, and retreating back to first base is Grant Lung with 1 away. I'll bring up Wyatt Divis to the box. Divis has reached base and found 3 of the 5 ways you can, has hits, gotten hits, and walked. All he has to do is reach on an error and reach on a fielder's choice, and he could do it all. Or reach on a drop third strike. Sliding back into first base on the check is Grant Lung. Divis singled in the first, was stranded at first, was walked in the third inning, and was sent home on the Grant Schmidt 2-run home run, and was hit by a pitch in the fourth inning. First delivery to Wyatt Divis outside 1-0. This is Divis' fourth summer with the Larks, had a great season last year, and is continuing his luck into this year, as his batting average up over 100 points from last year's batting average. Picked up 36 hits on the season, has one here tonight. Chops this one to Chatterton, who fields it, will tag Grant Lung and throw to Fisher at first. It's the second double play of this ball game, one for each team, and that'll end the sixth inning. We're tied up at 5. This is Carson Ackerman on the call. You're tuned into Larks Network as we move to the seventh inning. Top of the seventh we go. The Larks will bring in another pitcher. It's their third pitcher in 3 innings. Number 4 on the day. It is Max Castellucci. Max making his 4th appearance of the season right here. His last appearance was on Sunday against the Denver Cougars. Went 1 inning. No earned runs, but a run did score while he was on the mound thanks to an error. Has allowed 7 earned runs this year. 3 hits allowed, 8 walks, and 3 strikeouts. One and one is the count to the leadoff hitter, Alec Ackerman. Flew out to Dylan Drying in his last AB and picked up his only hit of the day back in the first inning against Luke Terbeek. Pops this one up a mile high and out of play over to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third baseman batting 5th in the Collegians order. Due up is Sean D with Lane Oliphant for Boulder. Castellucci, a 6-foot freshman from Napa, California, plays for the Mission College Saints. Didn't record any stats this year, but in his 2020 shortened season, made 4 appearances, went 1-0. All appearances in relief, allowed just 1 hit, and put 8 runners on from walks. Allows more walks than he does hits, and walks have been the thing for Max this year that have set him up for non-ideal situations, but has 2 quick strikes on Ackerman and looking to pick up his 4th strikeout of the season on this delivery. The righty goes home, slider, and man, a beautiful pitch from Castellucci will get Ackerman looking. No complaints from the third baseman. He just goes back to the dugouts with 1 away. A great pitch from Castellucci right there. And 2 straight Collegians have been retired after the bases had seen 3 different runners in the 6th inning. Castellucci has made all 4 of his appearances as a Lark this year in relief. Through 1 inning on the first series against the Roughnecks, that was on Game 3. Inning of relief, 1 hit allowed, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. And then his second appearance was when he didn't look like himself, allowed 2 hits, 5 earned runs over the course of 1 2/3 innings. Walked 4 and struck out 1 batter. First pitch to Sean D. misses the zone 1-0. Gets the signs from the new catcher, Brady Evans, coming in relief of Sam Crowell yesterday, coming in relief of Brock Loomis in this game yesterday. Soft fly ball to left field. Grant Schmidt moves in about 10 feet and records out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Collegians against Max Castellucci here in the 7th. Then I bring up Blaine Oliphant to the box. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Went 0 for 2 against Luke Terbeek with groundouts to Hutchison and Jackson. And then went 0 for 1 against Jose Velasquez in the 5th inning, striking out to end the inning. 2 away, bases empty in the top of the 7th, tied up at 5. Larks putting their faith in Castellucci here. When you put a young guy into the game, especially when they're young, in a tie game, that's how you know the team has your back and they got their faith in you. Keith Harper, always a very hopeful pitching coach, and puts his faith in the guys, and it works out here in the 7th. Castellucci gets the Collegians to go 1, 2, 3. That's the second 1, 2, 3 innings for the Hayes Larks today. We go to the 7th inning stretch, tied up at 5 from Larks Network. The 7th inning has been stretched from Hayes, Kansas. Leading off for Hayes will be Grant Schmidt. Schmidt on the day 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run and 2 strikeouts. First delivery from Ian Isdale, the new pitcher into the game for Boulder, is a strike on the left fielder for the Hayes Larks. The 0-1 home swung on and grounded to Isdale, will field it and throw underhanded to Fisher. 2 pitches and an out for Boulder defensively in the bottom of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Cade Brown to the dish. Cade on the day 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Has he gone past second base today with the Larks? Well, would love to have him get past second base and all the way home and get a 6-5 lead in this inning. This is the 4th pitcher of the game for Boulder. Each team has thrown 4 pitchers. Theo Dobkins got the start for Boulder. 3 2/3. Adam Shue came in relief. 1 1/3. Gifford came in the last inning and threw 13 pitches and got 3 outs. All 5 runs have scored against Dobkins. No balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman from OU. And Larks have another pitcher movement in the pen. I think it is Wyatt Divis, and pretty sure that's who it is. I just saw him throw a slider, and I don't think anybody on the Larks has a slider as good as Divis. The 0-2 home, outside 1-2 to Brown. Jemenian on deck with Jackson in the hole for Hayes. This is the first time since the first inning the Larks don't have a leadoff runner. And Schmidt is 1 for 4 on the day. The 1-2 home, outside, good eye from Brown. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cade Brown has seen a lot of pitches over the course of these 2 days. Has picked up 4 walks and has 2 hits. Isdale gets set, goes from the stretch to southpaw, delivers. Slider that hangs in the air, and Cade Brown sends it into right center field, shallow. Jennerton moves from second base and will record the catch in the grass. 2 up, 2 down for the Larks in the bottom of the 7th inning. Going to bring up Leo Jemenian to the box. Jemenian has been aboard 2 times, singled in the 4th inning and walked in the 5th. And he scored a run back in the 4th inning off of the Brock Loomis triple. Jemenian played in all 32 games for the Larks this year. Won't play in every game for the Larks this season. He's already seen a day of rest. In the order tonight, sends this one hard to left center field. Vogel and D move towards it. And making the catch in front of the 349 sign in left center is Vogel. Larks go 1-2-3 in the 7th, and we're tied up 5 as we go to the 8th. Top of the eighth, we go from Larks Network. On the mound for Hayes is Wyatt Davis, their fifth pitcher of the game after Max Castellucci has his best outing of the season and gets a 1-2-3 seventh. Davis, solid guy, a guy you want on the mound in a tie game. This is Carson Ackerman on the call on Larks Network, joined by Larks utility man, plays every position, Cam Pearson. Cam, how's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Glad to have you in the booth. 0-1 counts on A.J. Rucco. 1 for 3 on the day with a single. The first delivery outside, 1-1. So each time we have a player up here, we'll always interview him. So the first thing I want to ask you, this is your second year with the Larks. What brought you to the Larks last year, and what brought you back this year?
So what brought me to the Larks last year was I was at a junior college out in Arizona, and they originally signed me up to come out here. Never heard about Hayes, never heard about Kansas, never too familiar with it. Came out here, COVID, all that. We were lucky enough to be one of the few summer ball teams to have a summer ball season. So I was ecstatic to come out here and play baseball with COVID and all those restrictions last year. And then, of course, with all the friends and people I met last year,
Tough play for Cord Jackson at shortstop. It's going to be a leadoff single for Boulder. And they have a runner at first with nobody out. The second hit for Rucco. Feel free to continue.
But with all the people I met out here last year, of course, there was very easy to come back for another second summer here with especially the coaching staff, Frank, Keith, and a bunch of the guys on the team.
Glad to have you back. You were great for the Larks last year and have continued your momentum into the season. What's been your approach to keep that momentum going this year?
Right now I'm just trying to stay loose, clear mind, just focus on hitting, having fun, playing baseball, simple, let your ability do the work, just have fun, play baseball, do your thing, you know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. 1-1 counts on Jake Given. Actually, it's not Given, that is Garrett Fisher. He replaced Given at first base about 2 innings ago. The second straight game he replaces Given halfway through the game. Check over at Rucco, not in time. Davis on the mound, making another appearance on his great season. For Wyatt Davis, this is appearance number 5. Is 3-0 on the year, has won his last 3 outings, and has an ERA of 1.125. This is going to be a foul ball and an 0-2 count to Garrett Fisher. Vogel on deck with Gazdar in the hole for Boulder. Collegians didn't give the Larks much trouble yesterday, winning 10-4. But today they've hung with them. Last year the Larks won 4 games against Boulder, didn't drop any. First game was a 20-0 victory for the Larks, in a game which you had 2 home runs and had 7 RBIs. Do you remember much about that game? And if you do, tell us about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was really fun. It was a great game. It was the last game of our road trip, and it was an absolute shootout. And it was one of the more fun, memorable games of the season, no doubt, no doubt.
So we're going to have a change for Cam Pearson, who's got to go play. But now on the mic is one of 5 guys from UTA, Sam Crowell. Sam, what's up, man?
How's it going, man?
Hey, we're glad to have you on the booth. I've seen you out there coaching first base. How did you get roped into that?
I saw Max coaching third, and I told Frank, Frank, I'm pretty good first base coach, and you throw me over there.
Hey, the Larks have ran well tonight. We've only seen 1 stolen base, but it was a successful one in the only attempt. And back to the dugouts is Fisher, 0 for 1 the day after replacing Jake Given. That'll bring us to the top of the order. Ryan Vogel, 1 away, runner at first. Go ahead, 270 feet from scoring. 0-1 as this one's fouled off. So, Sam, you're one of 5 guys on the Larks roster from UTA. One of your teammates is on the mound, and Wyatt Davis. What brought you to Hayes, and did Davis have anything to do with that?
Yeah, so I was originally supposed to go to Liberal and play with the BJs, and Cav and Divis just told me that I had to go. Might need a timeout in a little.
Yeah, this ball rolls all the way to the right field, foul post, or foul wall, and the throw to third, not going to be in time. Going from first to third on the pick-off attempt is Rucco, runner 90 feet from scoring with 1 away.
So, I talked to Cav and talked to Divis, and they told me that I needed to come to Hayes. They said there was no other place like it, and, they weren't lying. I love it here.
It's been a great experience for a lot of the guys, and I know Kavanaugh was on the mic a few days ago, and he was talking about how the Larks have a rivalry with the Liberal BJs, and I knew it would have been mad at you if you would have went there because there was tensions high when we played them 2 years ago. Non-league anymore, and we haven't seen them for the past 2 seasons, but Ruocco will end up going back to first base, and we'll have an 0-1 count. So you battled through an injury this year, hurt your hamstring while you were in Denver, and we Larks went 3-1 in that series. How have you recovered? And you looked good in your first game back. Had a great outing. You had a home run yesterday, I believe, right?
Yep.
So I assume you're feeling okay?
I mean, I went home for the week, got some rehab done on my hamstring, did some exercises for it. But, for the most part, I'm just fighting through it right now, just, taking it slow, easing back into it. But, it's starting to feel better day by day, stretching, taking care of it. Today, went and got some rehab done with Frank's daughter. She's taking real good care of me up here, but, I'm just trying to stay loose with it.
For sure, man. Larks every year have injuries, and Lindsey Drowning always comes in clutch and helps the guys rehab. No balls and 2 strikes to Vogel. He has been hit and walked in this day. Has been aboard 2 times and has scored both times. 1 run in the first inning and scored the lone run of the 6th inning. He has a 1-2 count in his first look at Wyatt Divis this season. Divis been dominant all year. ERA still at 1.13 and a whip just a tad above 1. Has struck out 17 guys and only allowed 2 walks. Was the KCLB co-pitcher of the year in his second season with the Larks 2 years ago, and then was a dominant pitcher last summer for Hayes. Had an ERA under 1 and is continuing his dominance here on the mound. 1-2 to Vogel. Gazdar on deck with Miguel in the hole for Boulder. Larks looking to continue their winning streak here. Got to keep that runner at first base, not let him get home. This one is going to be fly to left field. Grant Schmidt will make the catch in left field and return Ruocco back to first base. 2 away. I bring up John Gazdar to the box on the day. Singled, hit by pitch, and walked. Drove in 2 runs on a base hit back in the 2nd inning. So you've seen Wyatt Divis pitch here in Hayes, and you've seen him pitch at UTA. What does he bring to the table on the mound? I
mean, he's got a wipeout slider. I mean, he's mainly slider, and then he'll come inside. He can put his fastball wherever he wants it. I mean, this dude, he loves to compete, loves to get after it. You can't really ask for much. Like much more than that. He he brings a good energy around. He's always having a good time, and then whenever it's time to lock it in, he really shows how to lock it in, go out there and compete. He'll beat you with the slider, beat you with his fastball. I mean, can't say enough about the guy. He's a great guy, great teammate. He's been a great leader to me throughout this year, but, I mean, great dude.
I think one of the most underrated parts of what Divis does for the Larks is his leadership. I mean, I saw him yesterday talking with Dylan Drowning in the first base coach's box after Dylan was frustrated with the ground outs. The guys always talk about how Divis is at batting practice, always there to give tips and always there to give advice and stuff. Has that been true for your experience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, ever since, day one, since I strolled into UTA, Divis was always there, calming me down, when I'd get frustrated. You're an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid rolling into a college. You don't really know what to expect. But, I mean, Divis helped me out a lot this year. We've been working on my swing a little bit, and, I think I finally found it.
It's a 2-1 count to John Gazdar. And with 2 away in the top of the 8th in the tie game. 2-1 becomes a 3-1 hitter's count to Gazdar, the shortstop. 2-2. They get the call on the scoreboard. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wyatt Divis 1 strike away from ending the top of the 8th inning and leaving that runner at first base. Getting his lead at first is Ruocco. Divis always goes from the stretch and will do so with the runner at first. The 2-2 home, swung on and fouled back. So this was your first year at UTA, and with all the restrictions, I had to imagine it was nothing what you ever expected college baseball to be like.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys have been talking about how weird of a year it was, but UTA had a great season, went to the Sun Belt, what conference are you guys in?
Sun Belt.
That's what I thought. Went to the tournament and came up just a little bit short, but great season led by Wyatt Divis. And Divis will get the punch out here and ends the 8th inning. Always loves that slider and gets it to work here, and that sends us to the bottom of the 8th on Larks Network tie game. Bottom of the 8th we go. Hayes Larks will lead it off with Cord Jackson. Jackson on the day, 1 for 3 with a single and scored back in the 4th inning. Do it for Hayes after Jackson will be Loomis and Drowling. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for.
This guy's different, man.
For Ian Isdale. I've seen him 4 different pitchers. Are you talking about Jackson or Isdale on the mound?
Jackson.
Jackson is different. He's a character, but he's been having a good season with Hayes after a slow start.
Yeah, he's a strong kid, man. Got a lot of tools.
The 0-1 to Jackson, the Nebraska commits in the zone, called strike 2. It's 1-2 Nebraska. Cornhuskers on the roster along with Tyler Palmer, who's out with an injury right now, injured to his ankle, and Denver stealing second base and hasn't been back in the lineup since. Loomis on deck with Drowling in the hole. Loomis off to a hot start in the past week, has a triple on his day, and if Jackson can get on, Loomis has the skill set to move him over. But Jackson will have to protect the plate. The 0-2 delivery from Isdale will wait as he'll step off the rubber. This is Isdale's 3rd appearance of the season, is yet to allow an earned run, has only walked 1 batter and struck out 7. He's given up 3 hits on the season, but worked a 1-2-3 7th, and he will meet with his catcher, Oliphant. Jackson will dig back into left-hander's batter's box. Jackson came into this game with a batting average of .314, had an on-base percentage of .429, and bumps it up with a single in this game and scored his 17th run of the season. He leads the team in runs scored. Cam Pearson and him were tied coming to this game, and now Cord Jackson has the lead, but it's Cam Pearson who will be seeing some action in a couple of minutes. 1-2 to Jackson. There's actually Brady Evans on deck, not Brock Loomis for the Larks. Brady Evans also had a good season, one of 3 catchers on the roster, along with Brock Loomis and then Sam Crowell, who's on the mic tonight. And Cord Jackson will be punched down for the 2nd straight AB, and there is 1 away in the bottom of the 8th. Nice pitch from Isdale, and that'll bring up Brady Evans to the dish. Brady batting .320 this year, OBP of close to 500, and has 5 hits, 1 double, 5 singles, a triple, and a home run. Came in relief of you yesterday. Was that because of your injury that you didn't want to go extra long? The coaches didn't want you to go extra long, or was that always scheduled that he was going to come in?
No, yeah. So Frank texted me after I told him I was coming in. He asked. He said, what do you feel comfortable with? I said, I'll catch Tuesday, and just see how it feels. And so he came up to me and was like, hey, Brady's gonna come in and catch the second half of the game. I was perfectly fine with it. Brady's been a real good guy to me all year. I've had the first game I had, I was cramping. He came in there and relieved me, and I got hurt. He came in there and relieved me there. And, he took over the load whenever I got hurt. So I really appreciate that guy. He's a good guy, hardworking guy.
Yeah, he's a catcher and has a skill set that not a whole lot of catchers possess. He hasn't shown a ton of power, has one home run this season, but one of the fastest catchers I've seen. Zach Henry running at first base. They will try to pick him off, and he goes to second and will be tagged out number 1 of this inning. Out number 2, and the bases are empty now for Dylan Dreiling. Tough break right there for Zach Henry. One of the fastest guys on the Larks roster, along with Jiminian and Palmer. I trust any 3 of those guys to get safe in that situation, but obviously the throw got him there. Dylan Dreiling to the box and has a first pitch off speed, 1-0. Dreiling on the day, 0 for 3. Is hitless in this series. Didn't pick up a hit yesterday, but has a very solid bat. Has a batting average of .438 through 5 games.
Oh.
And we'll foul this one off. Just finished up his junior year of high school.
Crazy.
And still has 1 year before going to Tennessee. So you say he's crazy. I mean, he's young and he's hanging with some college guys.
Yeah. I mean, him and Core both, it's crazy to watch them hit. Core's, his bench is up there with about anyone on this team. Dylan has the fastest hands on our team. It's insane to watch these 2 kids. They're literally kids. They haven't experienced 1 day of college, and they're out here competing with top-level guys. It's insane.
Dylan, last year with the Larks, got a few appearances when he wasn't playing for his club team and had a great season, hit a home run deep, well over 400 feet in Denver, and really announced himself in the Larks roster. We'll have a 1-2 count with Isdale still on the mound. Lefty versus lefty matchup, and Dylan trying to keep this inning going for the 8th. Got a righty in the pin for Hayes. So the Larks want to use him and not leave Divis on the mound. It's Grant Lung on deck should the Larks need him. Dylan Dreiling will take this one inside and has a 2-2 count. Dylan, one of 3 Tennessee Volunteers on the team technically, will still return to Hayes High, but teammate Jake Fitzgibbons with the team, and Cortland Lawson will be joining the team shortly. Dylan in his last AB was out on a fielder's choice that ended the inning. Takes this one above the letters and will have a full count. Nice AB here for the right fielder.
Cav's going to get loose. Look at him.
They're going to throw Cav tonight?
No, but he might have to go play some infield depending on what they do.
Had me nervous for a second.
Hey, he's got a 0 ERA, he says.
That's true. I'm not sure that dude's ever pitched with the Larks, so it would make sense.
He said that he begged Harp, and Harp let him throw 2 innings his first year here in blowout games. So we don't really count that.
Yeah,
we don't really count that.
Garbage time minutes.
Yeah.
The payoff pitch is sent out of play, and Dreiling will get a second payoff pitch from Isdale. Larks have seen position players throw over the course of a few years. We saw Brooke Brandon throw a couple years ago. We saw Tyler Palmer even throw 1 inning this year, and Dreiling works a great at bat and gets it up all the way to 8 pitches and walks. Runner at first with 2 outs. Gonna bring up Grant Lung, one of the few veterans on the team. Grant has been aboard 2 times tonight, but hasn't gone past first base. His 0 for 3 on the day was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning to lead off the inning, and couldn't get past first base as the Larks got a double play right after that. Dreiling, ton of speed on the base bats. Decent-sized lead at first, but Isdale, being a southpaw, will be able to look him close to the bat before he delivers. 1-0 to Grant Lung as the fastball runs outside.
So I got a question for you.
What's up?
We'll switch it up. Is this the best Larks team you've seen since you've been here?
Don't put me in that situation, man.
Be honest with it. Be honest with it.
I can't do the bro.
No, that's a balk. Doesn't matter. He's safe.
Yeah, I was going to say, either way, he's safe at second base. And Dreiling gets himself in scoring position with the 1-0 counts. My first year, we had a loaded roster, and really going to the NBC, it was a great team. We had several guys from UTA, like Carlos Tavera came up, was awesome in the NBC tournament. Last year, he came up again, actually. But yet, I don't know. We're better than last year. I'll give us that. I don't know. 2019, I still got bros on that team. I can't.
They're going to be mad if they hear you say it.
They would be, but I'd love to see a matchup. I don't know. We got a lot of D1. Not that I think division matters a ton, but we got 3 guys from Tennessee, and two of them that have played have looked good. And I think the UTA guys, all 5 of you guys have shown out this year. I don't know. Last year, you'll have to ask somebody like Kavanaugh or Davis, put them on the spot and compare their teammates.
I will. We'll just have to see.
You guys have had a better start. Larks dropped a few games early on to teams, and you guys really haven't had you've had 2 close games. One game went to extra innings. It was an 18-16 victory, and this game's been close. Yeah. And we've only lost 1 game.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That's a tough position to put me in.
Yeah, that's a veteran question right there.
2-1 to Grant Lung becomes a 3-1, and the dangerous second baseman with the runner in scoring position will get a 5th pitch from Isdale. I will say this about the Larks this year. They've just been dominant. Last year there was a lot of close games, but this year just a lot less pressure. They've just been cruising, and looking to keep this inning going will be Palmer Hutchison, as Grant Lung is aboard for the 3rd time today.
That's the thing, is I was talking to Cam one game. He goes, dude, it's weird. I've been on this team for a couple years now, but it's never been like this where, like, no matter what the score is, we know we're going to win.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never been on this. And, like, I experienced that a couple teams that I've been on in the past, but once you feel that, it's something different. Like, you know you got something special.
For sure. I know I talked to Kavanaugh on the bus ride back after that 11-1. We were trailing 11-1, came back, won 18-16, and he was saying, like, somewhere in the 6th inning, once they had 2 guys on, still down by 10, he was like, we're winning this game. And I feel like the team just knows that, and it seems like it's a very close-knit group of guys. Everybody's got each other's backs, and everything's clicking for Hayes this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what, everyone's a little nervous, like all the new guys coming in. And at first, it was really, that boy Frank. At first, it was just the new guys, like, and then, like, the vets. Like, we weren't really, like, together. And then out of nowhere, just one day, we all became, like brothers. Like, I mean, I love every single one of these dudes. Like, all these dudes are cool. Like, we hang out. Like, we have a great time. Like, it's insane. I didn't expect for it to be like this, but 100%. This is probably the best, like, connected team I've ever been on.
That's the crazy thing about Summer League, though, is everybody comes in late May, early June. Few guys know each other. The UTA guys obviously know each other. Some of the returning Larks, but most of these guys don't know each other. They come in, mesh, best friends for 2 months, and then everybody goes their separate ways.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's what me and Zach were talking about today. We're like, we definitely got to go see Cade Brown up in OU because he's only 3 hours away from us.
On the 1-2 pitch, both runners take off, and they'll go back to first and second.
That's who's warming up, by the way, is Cade.
Cade has been the 9th inning guy for Hayes this year and has been very solid on the mound. See why Oklahoma gave him the scholarship. Trailing at second, Long at first. 2 away, staying alive as Hutchison. Hutchison, 1 for 4 in the day, singled in the 4th and looking to go 2 for 5 on the 1-2 delivery from Isdale. The southpaw delivers, and Hutchison will be punched out. And the Larks leave 2 on, 1 in scoring position, and we'll take a tie game to the 9th inning on Larks Network.
selection was Saturday Sunday, Rocking Out Baseball.
Top of the ninth, Wyatt Divis back to the mound. And the first batter he'll face is Brady Miguel, the DH, batting third in the order. Divis misses above the letters on this one. 1-0. You're tuning into Larks Network. This is Carson Ackerman on the call with Larks catcher Sam Crowell on the mic as well.
How's it going?
Took over from Cam Pearson in a crazy situation. Cam had the night off, was coaching first base, meandering around, came up, talked for a little bit on the mic, and then you came up, gave him your jersey, and he raced down there quick.
Yeah, Frank was going to have me pinch hit and then said, go get Cam. And I was looking for Cam, and then they said he's in the booth, so I had to run up here and grab Cam. He's always the life of the party. I knew he'd be somewhere where there's attention.
Oh, yeah. I love Cam, though. He's a great guy.
Oh, amazing guy.
1-1 is the count on Brady Miguel. Has 2 singles on the day and been aboard 3 times. Has an RBI and a run scored on his day, but has a 1-2 count against Wyatt Divis. Divis has pitched against the Saints 2 times, Roughnecks once, and Cougars once. This is the the third team he pitches against this season. And the 1-2 misses low and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Under the lights here for the top of the 9th inning. Larks and Collegians have been tied since the 6th inning. Collegians scored 4 unanswered runs to get the game going, and then Hayes bounced back with 5. And in the 6th inning, Boulder tied it up. And Wyatt Divis picks up another strikeout on his season and gets Miguel to go down looking. A great pitch from Divis.
Telling you, he'll flip sliders in there the whole at bat and then fire you with the fastball on the outside black.
Divis' slider is special, man.
Oh, and he can throw it. I was sitting in the pen one day at UTA, and he was talking to my roommate about sliders, and he was throwing, 6 to 7 different sliders off the one grip, and just like the speed he'd throw it and how much movement he'd have, he has a really, really good understanding of the game and how to go about it. I've never experienced anything like that. That was insane.
His slider is always different. Works with that velocity so well. Almost when Kavanaugh was in the booth on the mic, he was saying it was almost 50-50 fastballs and sliders, but that slider can almost work like a changeup because of the velocity he takes off and can add on real quick.
The first time I faced Divis, I faced him in the fall and during an inter squad, and he threw me about he goes first pitch slider, second pitch slider in the dirt, and then he threw an 87 mile per hour fastball right by me, right down the middle, and he just looked at me and started laughing. And I was like, what? And then the rest of the bat, he literally just threw me sliders. And the last pitch, he got done playing with me and threw me a fastball. Struck me out. I was like, and he just started laughing. He knew. It was insane.
We'll get a fly out to Grant Schmidt for out number 2 of this inning, but Divis has confidence in his stuff. I remember talking to him in 2019. It was my first year doing this, and I always like to get the pitcher's pitch type so I know what to call. And I went down and I talked to him, and I was like, what do you throw? And he goes, fastball, slider, and a changeup. And I looked at him and I was in my head, I was like, only 3 pitches? And he must have read my mind or something. He goes, that's all I need. And just gave me a nod and sent me back.
He's one of the most confident people and it's weird because it's not cocky. It's cocky in some senses, but in my view, I love it. Like, the dude, he backs it all up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to have to hit this inning. So
Hey, no
it
worries.
was an honor,
Yeah,
man.
it's a pleasure to have you on the booth. Come up anytime, but we'll get a ground out
Thank
to
you.
Palmer Hutchison, and that'll end the ninth inning.
Let's
we go to
win
the
a ball game.
Let's win it, as Sam Krause said. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Hayes and Boulder tied up 5. Bottom of the ninth, we go from Hayes, Kansas. Leading it off for the Larks will be Wyatt Divis, who has been pitching for the past 2 innings. And the new pitcher, Luke Lupker, is going to have to go through the heart of the Larks. 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up in the bottom of the ninth in a tie game. And 1 week ago today, in the bottom of the ninth, it was the tie game, and Grant Schmidt hit a home run to left field to end it. That guy is on deck right now with a dangerous hitter at the plate. Divis hits this one into center field. A bad read from Vogel is going to let it drop. It rolls to the wall, and Divis has a 2-pitch leadoff double in the bottom of the ninth inning. Apologize for that. We got the cam back on now, but heard the call. Divis, a double to get the ninth going. It'll bring up Grant Schmitz. I mean, perfect situation right here for him to have his second walk-off in 7 days. Divis, not a super fast guy, but he gets it done on the base paths. And Lupker will step off the rubber and get ready to go to Grant Schmidt. Grant Schmidt already has 1 home run on the day. That was back in the 3rd inning where he brought home Wyatt Divis. 1-0 to Grant Schmidt. Schmidt was a great hitter for Fort Hays this year and was a great hitter at Cloud County 2 years before, spending the 2 years at Fort Hays, and has been great for the Larks this season. And there's a quick 2-0 count. Commanding this AB is Grant Schmidt. Lupker looks in and will go from the stretch to Schmidt. 2-0 gets a swing and a miss. Larks fans still in attendance here on a great Wednesday night for baseball. Can't be tonight at the park. Really a large crowd here, and they're all loud with the situation at hand. Slider catches the inside part of the plate and gets a groan from the crowd. 2-2 count to Grant Schmidt. Cade Brown on deck after he was warming up in the pen with Leo Jiminian in the hole. This one's going to be hit to shallow left center field. Wyatt Divis will retreat back to second base without any contest. And Schmitz is now 1 for 5 on the day.
First baseman, Cade Brown.
They'll bring up Cade Brown. Brown of the day has walked 2 times. Runner in scoring position with 1 away in the bottom of the 9th. Brown, great hitter, has been aboard 6 times the past 2 days. Hits this one to right center field. Divis is going to go to second to tag, and will start to go to third and hold up as Rucco makes the catch. And 2 quick balls into the outfield, get 2 outs, and Divis still at second base.
The center fielder, Leo Jimia.
That'll bring up Leo Jiminian. Jiminian on the day has a single and a walk. It's Corey Jackson on deck with Brady Evans in the hole. Lupker goes sidearm, misses the zone, 1-0. For Luke Lupker, this is appearance number 3 on the mound this season. Has thrown 3 1/3 and hasn't allowed any earned runs, no walks either. 4 strikeouts, 4 hits through 3 1/3. All of his appearances have been in relief, and the Collegians put their trust in him in the bottom of the 9th. Jimanian showed off a lot of power at Clarendon and a lot of skill this past spring, and founds this one into the glove of Oliphants. 1-2. Larks have 8 hits versus the Collegians 6. And Jiminian now looking to make this game go to 10 innings. Reaches for this one and chops it to Max McGuire. They'll stay 1-2. Milker wants a new ball. And they'll get one. Loop around at Regis University. Side armor and the 1-2 delivery. Jiminian reaches for that one. Maybe one he should have laid off. Sends it to right field. And that will end the 9th inning. Collegians are fired up as we head to the 10th. Tied at 5. Top of the 10th from Hayes, Kansas. Sean D will lead it off. Sean, not having his best day, has a double play and 2 other ground outs and a flyout on the day. First delivery from Wyatt Divis. This is Divis' 3rd inning of work. We saw Cade Brown go to the mound, and then Frank Leo decided to send Divis back to the mound for inning number 10, and Brown goes back to first base. Slider from Divis, 0-2 count. This is Davis' 3rd inning, has thrown 30 pitches. And has thrown strikes on nearly 75% of the ones he's thrown today. Misses the zone here, 1-2. Those 6 errors for Hayes proven to be costly here. Game could have been over, but we still stand and go strong in the 10th. Still in a quick moving ball game, as the 1-2 was sent to right field. Dylan Dreiling will adjust his read and record out number 1. That'll bring us to Luke Oliphant, 0 for 4 on the day. And he'll get his first look at Divis. He's the only batter to not see Divis in this game. I always feel comfortable when Divis is on the mound, and extra innings is no difference. I saw Cade Brown warming up. Those are 2 guys I trust and one on the mound for my team as we move into extra innings. First delivery from Divis to Oliphant. Runs outside, 1-0. 1 away, bases empty in the top of the 10th, tied up at 5. Delivery home, does catch the knees, 1-1. Do it for Hayes in the bottom of this inning, trying to walk us off for the 2nd time in a week will be Jackson, Evans, and Dreiling. Divis always goes from the stretch regardless of base runners, and does so here. The slider catches the outside part of the plates and has a 1-2 count against Oliphant, the catcher. On deck is Ruka with Gibbon in the hole, Fisher in the hole, should Boulder need their first baseman. Infield playing in the corners, middle infield deep, and the slider from Divis will punch out Oliphant. He goes down without any complaints, and Divis has retired 9 straight Collegians. Larks going to runner to start the 9th inning at second base on a Wyatt Divis double, and then 3 straight flyouts didn't move him over. For Wyatt Divis, that is strikeouts number 3 on the day. They'll bring up Nick Upstill, pinch hitting for A.J. Rucco, and chops this one to his first base coach. No balls and a strike. Divis was the guy to take the game last Monday when the Larks were down 11-1. He came in relief of Corey Bright and got the win. Was the pitcher in the game for extra innings, and the Larks trusted him in extras then, and they still trust him now. He misses the zone here, 1-1. Larks had put their faith in the pitchers tonight, and each pitcher that they've thrown has been awesome. Luke Tierbeek, 4 innings, 1 earned run. Jose Velasquez comes in, throws a 1-2-3-5. Munch comes in, allows 1 earned run in his inning. Castellucci comes in and works a 1-2-3 inning as well as Jose Velasquez. And then Divis has thrown the past 2 2/3, 4 strikeouts and just 1 hit, no runs. Allows his second hit right there, and Upstill gets aboard for the first time today. They bring up Garrett Fisher, 0 for 1 on the day, after replacing Given. Davis, clean count, goes home, gets a pop fly backwards. Evans loses the mask and watches it go out of play. 0-1. Given finished his day 0 for 3 with a ground down to strikeout, and then he also reached on an error all the way back in the second inning. Davis, quick look over at the runner at first, over his shoulder, and will go home. The 0-1 delivery from Davis. Hit to center field. Leo Jiminian runs back and will record out number 3. Nice play and a nice inning for Wyatt Davis. Goes 3 innings strong, allows 2 hits, and sends us to the bottom of the 10th. The Larks another chance to walk it off from Hays, Kansas. Bottom of the 10th we go. Luke Lupker backs the mound for his second inning of work. And leading off the inning for Hayes will be Cam Pearson replacing Cord Jackson. Heard Cam on the mic earlier. He's now coming to the game to pinch hit. Cam in yesterday's ball game batted a third, went 2 for 5, scored a run. Totally on the season, he's batting .468 with an OBP of .518, 22 hits and 47 at-bats. And Lupkers will go from the stretch to him inside to Pearson, 1-0. Pearson, always a dangerous hitter, led the Larks in total bases last year. And still going to get the Larks the go-ahead run on the base paths. This one he will take outside over the plate. It's 1-1. If you ever can't watch the game, updates are provided on Twitter. So if you have a Twitter, be sure to follow the Larks on Twitter at HatesLarksBB. Also catch other things on the Larks Facebook. Catch final scores on there and things such as this day in Larks history on the Facebook page. And then subscribe on YouTube to watch all the games for free on your streaming devices. 3-1 count to Pearson, a hitter's count to a very dangerous hitter. Lupker, gotta be careful with this delivery. It's a side armor, the southpaw will go home to Pearson. It's swung on and hits to right field. It's going to be in a good place to potentially drop. Running a great catch by Ruocco. And they will say he recorded the out. The ball dropped out of his glove in foul territory, but they will say he carried possession all the way through his slide. Well hit ball from Cam Pearson. Great play by Ruocco, and that'll bring up Brady Evans to the dish.
The catcher, number 7, Brady Evans.
Loud out number 1. Brady Evans, 1 for 1 today with a single. Sends his first pitch to shallow right field. Running in is Ruocco. He's ran a lot on the past 2 pitches. And he will record this one. 2 up, 2 down for the Larks in the bottom of the 10th. So Sam Crowell was coming to bat, and they will go with Dylan Dreiling in order. So I wonder where Sam Crowell will come in. Looks like they might have gone with the pinch hitter. They decided to go with Dylan Dreiling. Dreiling got aboard in the 8th inning and has 2 outs with the bases empty. Luker, a redshirt sophomore at Regis. It's from Castro Valley, California. And the 5'10 Southpaw appeared in 10 games for the Rangers this year through 8 1/3 innings. Struck out 7, walked 8, and allowed 11 earned runs. Made 1 appearance in 2020 and allowed no hits and walked 2 batters, no earned runs. Dreiling grounds this one to Ackerman, has some trouble with it in the hot corner, and Dreiling will beat the throw by a step, and the Larks are going to try to make that error costly for the Collegians, and the inning continues, and that's the 3rd error of the ball game for Boulder, and Dreiling is aboard, and he has speed. Now we'll bring up Grant Lung to the dish. Grant Lung has been aboard 3 times, and the Larks faithful loud here in the bottom of the 10th. Lung on the day. Still hasn't recorded a hit, but has been hit by a pitch and walked. Slider catches the outside part of the plate. No balls and a strike to the second baseman out of the University of Sioux Falls. Lupker was homeschooled before going to college, according to the Regis roster. And Dylan Dreiling will go to second on the field. Pickoff move. And Max McGuire waves him to third. He trips on his way to third and will go back to second base. Would have been easily safe at third had he not slipped. That's the second time that the Larks have slipped there in the past 2 days in the series. Leo Geminian was rounding second yesterday and tripped. Still went to third and was in safely. But the go-ahead run and winning run moves up 90 feet, is in scoring position with 2 outs and an 0-1 count to Grant Lung. Grant Lung, a clutch hitter, and looking to put it on display here. Call and strike 2 on him. He doesn't like that call. Matthew Weaver stands firm with his decision after some questions from Grant Lung. Lung looking for hit number 13 right here, and RBI number 11 as an 0-2 count. Luker goes home, and Lung could have ended the game right there had he been a millisecond later. Pulls it early down the right field line and way out of play, but had the home run distance. Luker, unfazed by it, gets set up immediately. Southpaw gets the signs from Oliphant. Dreiling gets his lead at second. The 0-2 from the side armor will get punched out. Grant Lung, that's 2 strikes that he doesn't like the call on. He laughs at that one. It will go back to the dugout. Larks leave the go-ahead and winning run at second base. Grant Lung gets a warning from the home plate umpire, and we go to the 11th. Hayes and Boulder tied at 5. On Larks Network, Wyatt Divis to the mound. Leading off is Ryan Vogel. Has gone out 3 times and walked once and hit by a pitch once. Wyatt Divis returns, and the Larks scoreboard at right field out of innings, and we'll reset it. 5 runs apiece, 7 hits for Boulder, 8 for Hayes. A combined 10 errors from the 2 squads. Divis misses inside 1-0 on Vogel. This is Vogel's second look at Divis, 0 for 1 against him on the day. Matt Cavanaugh will be at shortstop. Core Jackson got the start, and then Cam Pearson pinch hit for Jackson in this last inning, and now Cavanaugh will replace Pearson. We appreciate all the viewers that have stuck with us through the 11 innings and are still tuned into the game. Over 2/3 of our viewers on the Larks streams aren't subscribers, and once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be able to stream the games from our websites and do a lot more of awesome stuff. But that's the goal. YouTube, with their policies, got to have 1,000 to start monetizing. That's really not the goal, but the websites and a whole lot of other stuff. So we ask that if you're sticking with us, hit that subscribe button, as this one's going to be grounded to Matt Cavanaugh. The faithful shortstop throws high, got a little fancy with the throw, and injures himself on the process. It's an E6, and the runner goes from home to second on the air. And Cavanaugh is hurt, and maybe they shouldn't have gone with him. Hamstring immediately coming up, Hovland. And Frank Leo's going to go check on him. Calif is shaken up. Go ahead and run in scoring position. Vogel aboard for the 3rd time. Saw Sam Crowell go down with a hamstring earlier this season, and that is what Cavanaugh is grabbing, his left hamstring. Frank Leo is there to talk with him, and Cavanaugh is frustrated. And I think,
ladies and gentlemen, Larks fans, Matt Cavanaugh.
He's in pain, and we're going to get a new shortstop into the game. That's a sign you hate to see. That kid has gone through so much the past 3 years as a Lark. Was injured this year at UTA and has been hurt this year for the Larks. He got hurt in 2019. Didn't go to the NBC because of the injury. Went home. And then last year at the NBC got hurt. I mean, I feel for the kid big time. That is just so unfortunate. Kid had so much talent, and he still has a ton of talent, but he's yet to have a full Lark season on display showcasing it. So we'll see what the defensive changes are in the top of the 11th. And all momentum, and fans here in this game get quiet as we're going to get some defensive changes. So Cam Pearson puts on the catcher's mask. I think that's just to keep Wyatt Divis warm. So what I think we're going to see is Sam Crowell come in and catch, and then Brady Evans goes to third, and Palmer Hutchison goes to shortstop. Hutchison at shortstop, Brady Evans at third base, and then Sam Crowell will be coming in to catch, I do believe. Man. Cam Pearson could have came in had they not pinch hit him and then immediately replaced him with Cavanaugh. And that would be convenient, but he's at home making sure his pitcher, Divis, stays warm. Luke Terbeek, who started this game, goes and sits by Matt Cavanaugh, who is shaken up, and dude's got to be going through it right now.
Defensive changes for the Larks. Shortstop is Palmer Hutchinson. Moving to third base is Brady Evans. Now catching for the Larks, number 15, Sam Crowell. That right? No, who is it? Crowell.
And that is what happens. Crowell comes in to catch. Brady Evans will go to third base. Palmer Hutchison goes to short. It's Schmidt, the Fort Hays State Tiger, in left field. Leo Jiminian in center. Dylan Dreiling, the high schooler, in right field. And Brady Evans at third. Palmer Hutchison at short. Grant Lung, the USF Cougar, at second. Cade Brown, the Oklahoma Sooner, at first. And Sam Crow behind the dish. So should that run, hopefully doesn't score. Should it score, though, wouldn't count against Divis's ERA. As he reached on the throwing error. Larks have battled injuries the past 3 years. 2019 was a horrible year for the Larks 2 years ago, injury-wise. They battled them all season. Larks lost a couple players in the league tournament, got a couple guys hurt in the NBC tournament, and it was just not a good year. They did win the KCLB tournament, went 34-12, but they battled injuries and departures all season. Divis will get the ball as it's grounded to him, and the throw to third is going to be wide of Evans. A risky throw from Divis to begin with. I think it would have been safe had the throw even been accurate, but the go-ahead run scores for Boulder, and it's a 6-5 game. And that's the second error for the Larks this inning. And there's still a runner at second with nobody out. They'll bring up Brady Miguel. Struck out against Divis in the ninth. Divis will look to shake that off here. But going back to that 2019 season, there was 22 players on the start of the roster. By the end of the league tournament, only 11 of those players were active and with the team. I mean, roster cut in half. And then Larks lost a player early in the season. Gabe Ponce was committed to come and play for the Larks for the summer and then got drafted by the Blue Jays and went and joined Toronto's organization. 0-1 is hit to Jiminian in center. He was playing in. He will make the catch, tagging up. And going back is John Gazdar. Won't count as an RBI on his day, but will count for an official run scored after that errant bunt.
The second baseman, number 4, Jackson Chatterton.
That was the third time Vogel had scored today. There's one away with a runner at second base. This one's lined into center field. Jiminian races into it. They're going to hold Gazdar at third wisely as the throw to home will allow Chatterton to go to second, and the double play is off the table after the throw home. Cade Brown tried to cut it off. It took a weird bounce off of the mound. Sam Crowell got to it, but not before the damage was done. 2 on, both in scoring position, 1 out in the top of the 11th inning. That run from Vogel was number 13 on the season, tied with Jackson Chatterton, who's at second base for the team lead. And Keith Harper's going to have a chat with Wyatt Divis, who doesn't look like himself right now. To first base for the Larks is Wyatt Divis, infield playing in as they should. New pitcher in the game for Hayes is Cade Brown out of OU. First pitch is a fastball for a called strike against Alec Ackerman. For Cade Brown, this is appearance number 5 on the mound. Has thrown 4 2/3 innings, 1-0 on the win on the season. Picked up the win against the Kansas Cannons. We're gonna have a line drive into right field. It's gonna score 1, and the throw from Dreiling is gonna be on time, but Crowell doesn't make the catch, and he comes up hobbling. And the Collegian have scored 3, and they have a runner at second with only 1 out. And all of a sudden, all the momentum is gone. That's just the 5th hit Cade has allowed this season.
The left fielder, number 6, Sean D.
Bring up Sean D to the dish. Flew out to start the 10th inning and is 0 for 5. Brown has an ERA under 2 and a whip under 1. Goes home, slider outside, 1-0. This 1-1 delivery is lined into center field. Leo Geminian dives forward and can't make the catch. And this 11th inning has been a nightmare for the Larks.
With the youngsters on the dugout on the Colorado team, would you please get down from the height so you are safe? Thank you.
Runners on the corners with 1 out. That'll bring up Lane Oliphant to the dish. He's 0 for 5 as Sean D picks up his first hit of the day. And look, I'll bring up Oliphant's first look at Cade Brown. Sorry, there's a lot of confusion going on in the press box right now. This one's bunted. Cade Brown will go home, and Sam Crowell will apply a hard tag as tripping was Alec Ackerman. Fell in front of the plate. Crown will apply the tag, and a run will not score. 2 on, 2 outs. Good play from Brown. Heads up to go home. Questionable move from Ackerman to go home. Larks got to do something in the 9th inning, or excuse me, the 11th inning, down by 3. Do believe due up will be should be Sam Crowell, Brady Evans, and Dylan Dreiling. Pearson hit for Court Jackson. Then Kavanaugh replaced Pearson, and Pearson got hurt. And then coming in for Pearson was Crowell. And then Palmer Hutchinson moved to shortstop to take over those duties from Kavanaugh. The 1-0 to the lefty, outside, 2 balls and no strikes. At the plate is Nick Upstill. Larks looking for some magic in the bottom of this inning. All the momentum in favor of the Collegians. Brown from the stretch goes home. It's lined in the gap in right field between first and second baseman. Dylan Dreiling will throw home. It's going to be off the bag. Sam Crowell will go to second. And another run scores. And the Larks, who crushed the Collegians last year, winning 20-0 in Game 1 and ended up scoring a ton of runs, 35 over the course of the 4 games, and only allowing 6 earned runs, are down by 4 in the 11th inning. Things have just fallen apart, and they don't look like the team that I've been watching this season. Larks have allowed more runs tonight than they did in the 4 games against the Collegians last year. By 3. That brings Garrett Fisher to the box as a first pitch strike. 9-5 ball game. 2 on, both in scoring position with 2 outs. Brown, the righty, will go home from the stretch. Slider off of Crowell's glove. Runner breaks home and then holds up 1-1. The stadium has emptied out just a little bit. Still a very good crowd here at Larks Park at 10:30 p.m. on a weeknight. Two balls and 1 strike to Upstill. Brown looks in for a long time, gets the signs from Crowell. His second game catching this series. Got replaced by Brady Evans yesterday. And we'll get a swing and a miss. The throw to third base, high, and a risky throw from Crowell will allow 1 run to score, and 2 runs will end up scoring on the E2. It's an 11-6 ball game, and the fans here are very unhappy. Hayes down by 6, and things have all just fallen apart here for Hayes in this 11th inning. They looked good all night, and then this has not been the 11th inning of their dreams. Upstill will foul this 2-2 off. Chasing it down the right field line is Wyatt Davis. It will drop in foul territory. Larks started off down 4, scored 5 unanswered runs. Boulder got 1 in the 6th, and we were silent all the way to the 11th, and Boulder has scored 6. You get the feeling that Larks' hearts are out of it. Throws have not been there. Davis had a little bit of struggles, which he never really has. And Cade Brown hasn't gotten the defensive help he's asked for and hasn't pitched as well as he has before this season. He has a full count, and I think the Larks are in their own heads. Looks home. Upstill will get a payoff pitch. And Cade Brown misses the zone, and this inning keeps going on. Collegians have now batted around in extra innings, something you never want to happen. 11-5 in the top of the 11th. Runner on first with 2 outs. Larks will have 2 days off to think about this one should they not come back in the bottom half of this inning. Brown throws home, and when you're already down by 6 and you don't get a call like that, that's got to be frustrating. I mean, that one hit the zone 1-0. Brown goes home, fastball with some heat on it, gets fouled off. We'll go 1-1. Vogel reached on an error from Matt Kavanaugh to start this inning, which feels like was an hour ago, and it's been a long half inning, especially when Kavanaugh went down with an injury. There was a big pause there as Larks were getting defensive changes, and he was getting some help, and it just kept going. This one's fouled off on go 1-2 as Cade Brown will try to send us to the bottom of the 11th. Just a lot of errors for Hayes. 8 in the game so far. The 2 games that the Larks had struggled in previously had been put in the situation because of errors. Went to extra innings alone because of errors. Hunter Parker pitched against the Game Day Saints. I think like 11 runs came around to score in the first 3 innings. I think only like one of them was earned. I'll go and check that. And then game 2 that the Larks struggled in, it was a loss. Walks and errors were the big theme in that one, and errors the big theme tonight. To go and check that box score. Hunter Parker was on the mound. 11 runs scored. Out of the whole game, the 16 runs scored from the Collegians, 4 were unearned. So not as bad as I thought, but there were still 6 errors from the Hayes Larks in the first 5 innings. We'll have a full count and get another payoff pitch, and the Larks just want to get out of this one. And Cade Brown will get the call, and Vogel shakes his head, and they take a 6-run lead to the bottom of the 11th on Larks Network.
Meet me down at the ballpark, where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. I can't wait to see a home run. I know for sure there's gonna be one. I'll call out the players by their first name. Sure am glad I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Bottom of the 11th, we go. Leading off for Hayes is Sam Corral. It'll be his first plate appearance of the day. Or excuse me, that is Palmer Hutchison. So I was out of order on my lineup. Hutchison fouls this one off, 0-1. Hutchison comes in this at-bat with a single for his lone hit of the day. Swings and reaches one, and it's 0-2. Lupker back on the mound, and after a long period of rest for him, doesn't seem that it threw him off. Misses here, though, 1-2. On deck for Hayes is Wyatt Divis with Schmidt in the hole. Larks now looking to give up here. Everybody's staying ready. The 1-2 misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Larks on a 7-game win streak. Got a lot of ground to make up to keep that run going. It's going to be grounded to the right side. It will roll into foul territory as Palmer Hutchison runs across first base. Larks are going to have Thursday and Friday off. But then we'll have a 2-game series against the Colorado Sox on Saturday and Sunday. Play Junction City on Monday. That'll be the 3 games over the course of the weekend. And then we'll have 2 days off, and then it's off to Colorado. All 3 games in Hayes coming up will be first pitches at 7 p.m. Central Time. 2-2 swung on a miss, and the Larks are down to their final 2 outs, and all life out of the stadium has been drained.
The first baseman, number 16, Wyatt Davis.
Wyatt Davis comes up to the plate and looking to get aboard for the 5th time. Wyatt Davis has been star for the Larks tonight, a single, a double, a hit by pitch, and a walk. Larks could have ended this game so easily in the 9th inning. They had a leadoff double for Wyatt Davis, and then due up after that was the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, and they didn't get anything off after that. Ground ball to the outfield would have scored him probably, but the Larks hit 3 fly balls into right field. Oh, 2 to Davis. Lupker goes home, and it's a 1-2 count. Davis is looking to get momentum going for the team. Could use it for his own stat line because the Larks don't score 6 runs. He'll pick up his first loss of the season. Hits this one into center field. Vogel moves into right center and will make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the 11th. Wyatt Davis went 3-0 as a Lark last year, and the past 3 years as a Lark, Wyatt Davis has only lost 1 game on the mound, has 10 wins, and Collegians are 1 out away from snapping what he's built. Grant Schmidt to the box, had that 2-run home run in the 3rd inning that got the rally started for Hayes. Took a 1-run lead then into the 6th inning, and into the 5th inning, and since then it's been downhill. 1-1 to Schmidt, the left fielder out of Fort Hays State University. This one's popped a mile high backwards and over the press box. We'll go 1-2. Larks down to their final strike, and the Collegians looking to pull off the upset. Schmidt reaches for this one, and the game's going to keep going. Sends it into left field, and he has a 2-out base hit. Larks have a runner first with 2 away as that brings Cade Brown, the pitcher, to the dish. Brownlee Day has been aboard 2 times, walked twice, and yesterday got walked twice. He got 2 hits, scored 4 times today, hasn't scored at all. Runs today have come from Davis, Schmidt, Jeminian, Jackson, and Loomis. RBIs have come from Loomis and Schmidt, and I think Cade Brown is close to picking one up there. Lines it all the way down to the left field corner, and they will hold Grant Schmidt at third wisely. 2 on with 2 out, both in scoring position. Larks rallying. The game-tying run, although, is not even in the hole.
The center fielder, Leo Jimia.
They bring up Leo Jiminian to the dish. A walk and a single and a run scored on the day for the French center fielder. Grounds this one to the shortstop, Gazdar. He waits on it, throws to first. Fisher records out number 3 of the 11th inning, and the Larks drop their first game in 8 games. Hayes loses 11-5, and Boulder will celebrate on the home turf. The first home loss of the season for Hayes. The Collegians move on to 7-3 on the season. That's according to their game changer. 7-4 on the season. Hayes is now 11-2. Their 7-game win streak has been snapped, and they're still 6-1 in first place in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League, and will look to bounce back Friday against the Colorado Sox. On Saturday. No games on Thursday and Friday for Hayes. First pitch on Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time. You can catch it right here on Larks Network. This has been Carson Ackerman on the call. Thank you for tuning in and have a good night.